Don't even know. I don't know where I am. I don't know whether I am. I don't know where my live chat is. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. We're live for Manchester United against Brentford. I hope you're all doing very well. I can hear myself in my ear. That's not good. Okay, Rashford up top today is what we're hearing, Sam Brown. That is what we're hearing, Sam Brown. We're hearing that, Sam Brown. We are hearing a lot of things. We're hearing that Sancho and Sabitzer start. And we're hearing that Weghorst dropped. I'm not hearing about McTominay. I don't know about that. I would hope that if Sabitzer's starting, then surely McTominay doesn't. But we should have the team coming through for you very quickly. We're sponsored by Boohoo Man. We will talk about that in a minute. You can get 10% off by scanning the QR code next to me and also by going through the link in the video description. But we're talking about Manchester United's team news, which has just dropped like a pleasant, not fart, that doesn't work, but like a lovely perfume. I can tell you that the team is, and I should be able to get it on the screen for you as well. Sort of caught myself out. I got caught a little bit short, as you can probably tell, but we have got the team news coming in. I don't know whether they'll have it on the screen for you. Shamoni, they do. Scott McTominay is starting. The fuck? Why is he starting McTominay again? I can't believe it. This is the first time where I have to question Erik ten Hag here. The fuck is he starting Scott McTominay for? I don't get it. I can't speak. I can't. How many? I mean, I hope the lad scores. I hope he has a good game. But how many shit games does he have to have and start for Man United? He was shite against Fulham. He was shite against Newcastle, and he's starting again. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get that. And I love Ten Hag. You know I do. I absolutely love Ten Hag. But I can't lie that I think that's a good decision. Bloody hell. I can't speak. Anyway, as you can see, the team is De Gea, Dalot, Martinez, Varane, Luke Shaw, Sabitzer, Bruno and McTominay. With we've got Anthony and Sancho and Rashford. Look, it's not the team I would have picked. I'd have dropped McTominay for Fred, and I'd have played Martial up front with Rashford off the left and Sancho on the bench. But we don't know on the fitness of Anthony Martial, so in reality, that might not be a bad idea if Martial's not fit enough to start. On the bench, you've got Butland, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, Pellistri, Martial, and Weghorst. Yeah. The only issue I've got with that team, genuinely, is Scott McTominay starting. I just do not understand at this point why we're doing that. I just don't get it. I really don't. You know, you talk about effort and desire, and you're picking a player that's been absolute shite the last two games he's played. Fulham, he had to get pulled off at half-time, he was so crap. And Newcastle, he played in two positions and was still subbed off because he was crap. I mean, what's wrong with Fred? I don't get it. I mean, and I'm not... You know, for me, Fred is 100 times better than Scott McTominay. So I just don't get that one. I'm disappointed about that because I think that Brentford will look at it and go, we've got a chance. But having said that, you know what? Let's spin a positive. We've got to win tonight. Let's spin a positive. I think that really, you know, maybe at some point, you know, it's like throwing the dice. At some point, you're going to throw a 1, aren't you? And at some point, Scott McTominay is going to have a decent game. So hopefully it's going to be tonight because Red says you've just got to trust the manager. Well, we have, to be honest with you. We have got to trust the manager. I completely agree. Doesn't mean I have to like it, though. And look, I trust the manager, of course I do. But I look at the bench again and I see Fred and I think, what's the issue with Fred? There must be an issue with Fred because he's actually always done a decent job for Ten Hag. In the absence of Casemiro, he must be carrying an injury or something. Any player in that 6 is a massive gamble anyway, says Moses. I'm really surprised. I don't know what. I wonder what Fred. I wonder. I'm going to tweet it as well. I wonder what Fred's done, or if he's ill. Stunned he's not started either of the last two, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll say it how it is, and it is what it is. Anyway, before we react to all of that, let me just talk to you about Boohoo Man. Some of us feel like boohooing with literally crying because McTominay's starting, but Boohoo Man is all about looking good and feeling great. And with springtime upon us, it's the perfect time to update your wardrobe with some fresh fashion activewear like what I'm wearing here today. I love my little hoodie. And as Boohoo Man sponsors our show, it's time for a bit of United-related trivia. And this week, we're testing your knowledge by asking you to guess the ex-Man United player Boohoo Man is referring to. If you get this, I'll be very impressed. I was born on June the 30th, 1965. I started my youth football career with Billingham Town. I made the move to Manchester United from Middlesbrough in 1989 for a record British transfer fee of 2.3 million. During my time at United, I won the Premier League 4 times, the FA Cup 3 times, and the European Cup Winners' Cup once. In April 1997, I scored my final 2 goals for United in a crucial 3-1 victory over Liverpool at Anfield. Many considered this match to be the title decider for that season. Who am I? Well, look, if you can get this one, I'll be very, very impressed. Very impressed indeed. It's not Nani, it's not Roy Keane. It's Pallister, says United Metal and Robert McCormack and Thomas. Well done. It was indeed Gary Pallister. Some of you may never have heard of him. He was a very important centre-back in the Bruce Pallister era, in that first era of Man United dominance in the Premier League. So well done to that. Of course, Boohoo Man has provided the United Stand viewers with an exclusive special discount as well for this video. Scan the QR code, which I'll put next to me in a minute, or click the link in the description. Use the code Goldbridge to get an additional 10% off at Boohoo Man. Loads of very well priced quality items that you can get clothing wise, whether you want to go down the gym, five-a-side, or just chill around in the house in a hoodie like me. A big thank you to Boohoo Man for supporting today's show. And now we can move on with some of your comments about the team news, and I'll leave that up there for you for a moment as well. Right, let's have a look at what people are saying, because we've got that team news in for Manchester United. Scott McTominay starts, Fred's on the bench again, Sabitzer starts with Bruno again. You've got a good front three that doesn't have Weghorst in it, which is Sancho and Rashford and Anthony. Players need to deliver today. They really, really do. McTominay is that crap player in your team that always does exactly what the coach says and decently performs in training and then ruins your match, says Joshua. Mark, as fans, are we missing something when it comes to McTominay? Every manager just cannot drop him, says Surab. Look, mate, I'm not going to lie. I've asked this question of myself time and time again. What am I missing about Scott McTominay? GJ says, I saw McTominay in the lineup and came straight here. Adamant hag, says GJ. And also, Mark, I think Ten Hag doesn't trust Fred when Casemiro's not on the pitch, says Tony. Really hoping Sancho takes his chance where we can keep a bit more possession around their box, says Christian Lister. Look, I think this is a great point about McTominay because a lot of people are talking about it. He has been admired by Jose Mourinho, by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now by Erik Ten Hag. So there is something, but trust me, you're not getting it wrong. Midfield, they will dominate us if McTominay hides, says Triggered Salt. You're not getting it wrong. He doesn't offer anything because he hasn't offered anything. We've not forgotten good performances. He gets ridiculed so much. If he actually had a half decent game, it would get called a world-class game. He just hasn't played well. Consistently hasn't played well. I think the reason he gets picked is probably what Robert McCormack was on about this morning. Robert McCormack was saying, I wouldn't have picked Martinez because he had issues with crosses into the box at Brentford. What is the difference between Scott McTominay and Fred? About 8 inches. I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about height. So I think he's being picked for height again because Casemiro is very good in the air and he's about 6'2". Fred is about 5'8", isn't he? And Scott McTominay is about 6'2". I think it's about height. I think that's what it's about. If this lad was 5'8", he'd be playing in the National League. I don't think he offers anything else other than height. Wolf says, Mark McTominay again, I can't do this again. Mark, you played the game, I trust you out there more than him. No, Scott McTominay's much better than me. Much better than me. McBum must have male photos of De Gea, De Gaffer, says Fernando. Look, I hope he has an absolute stormer today. Do you think Scott McTominay could be playing up front with Sancho as the cam and Bruno and Sabitzer? I mean, Dylan might be onto something there. You might be onto something there. But look, I don't know. I think he's going to be playing as a holding midfielder. Look, search your heart, search your soul. I feel like Bryan Adams. I think it's got to be something to do with he doesn't trust Fred as the holding midfielder. McTominay wouldn't get into the Brentford team. What is this obsession with him, says Sean Turner. He is crap. If we don't win tonight, Ten Hag better prepare for pelters, says Sean Turner. And Mark, would you ever do a tour in Australia? I'm begging you, says Abbott. Well, Abbott, you only asked me 2 days ago. It'd probably take that long to fly there, and I haven't sorted it out yet, but I hope to do it, yeah. Look, apart from that, I'm quite happy with the team. I said this afternoon. Somebody said to me this afternoon on Twitch, what would you do if Martial can't start the game? We're stuck with Weghorst. I said I'd do exactly that. I'd put Rashford down the middle, Sancho on the left, and Anthony on the right. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'd start Bruno, Fred, and Shaw in midfield, says Alias. I mean, look, I trust the manager. Hopefully Scott McTominay has a worldie tonight. I'll be the first there to praise him if he does. It'll be the first time he's had a good game since September. It is what it is. I trust the manager, but I can't lie that I'm surprised. I really am surprised because I personally think that when you look at it, the Fulham game was a joke. He was absolutely crap, and the Newcastle game, he was a joke. He was absolutely crap. So to be starting 3 games in a row, I mean, look, in a way, Ten Hag contradicts himself because he says, you know, if you're not playing well in a United shirt, you're in the wrong place. And then you pick a player that's been crap for the last 2 games. I don't get it, but it has to be tactical. It has to be to do with something. And I would imagine it's to do with height. And Robert McCormack says, I'd have played Maguire. They're beasts at set pieces. And I think that's why McTominay's in the team. I think fair play to Robert McCormack. He highlighted this this morning. And he said that, I'd play Maguire over Martinez because they're good at set pieces. Well, if you're going to play Martinez, it probably forces you to pick McTominay. And I suppose you ask the question, would you rather Maguire played instead of Martinez and we pick Fred, or would you rather McTominay plays instead of Fred and we pick Martinez? And I think I'd go with that. How do you watch games when they're not on TV, says Josh. Ask people in the chat. It is on TalkSport. I've got my earpiece in as well. So TalkSport have got exclusive radio coverage of it. And you can catch my TalkSport show on Saturday night, 7:30 till 9 o'clock. What are Scott's strengths? I still don't know what his game is. Always looks lost in games, says Min. You know what, as well? I'm going to try and big up Scott McTominay here. We are playing a team that averages 30% possession. So that means they don't go hunting for the ball. They're a counter-attack set-piece team, like Robert says. So actually, McTominay might work today in the sense that Brentford probably won't go after him, so he'll have a lot of time on the ball. He has got a good pass when he's not under pressure. So look, I'm hoping. If he was choosing height, he would pick Maguire as well. McTominay is as much of a liability in midfield as Maguire is at the back, says Lee. Love the channel, Mark. Great watching. Please can I get a Jim White, says Overcharged. And we're not missing anything. The manager's picked McTominay because we have either had one or no number 6 in his entire time with us. Let's not start throwing Ten Hag under the bus, says Moses. When it's clear he wasn't back properly, we need options, says Moses. And are you coming to Vegas in the summer? If so, I would love to buy you a round or 2 at the pub, says Outdoor Adventure Marine and Rattlesnakes. We need to know what the full tour is first before we plan it out. But the United stand will be out on tour. And Cyber Spider says, unfortunately, already seeing some Prats saying sack Ten Hag if we finish 5th. Did they forget last season? Look, I love Ten Hag. I back Ten Hag 100%. But you know what? It doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he does, because that's not what life's all about. I've told you this story before. I've worked for people that are complete idiots, and I've worked for people I really respect. But those people I really respect, in certain jobs I've been in, I've disagreed with them, and I've told them I disagree with them because I didn't disagree with a certain thing they did. It's absolutely normal. Sir Alex, many of us used to disagree with some of the selections he did, but he's still the greatest manager we've ever had. Remind me, did Ten Hag ever play Martinez as CDM for Ajax? I'd much rather that and Lindelof with Varane centre-back. I don't get the height thing. It's football. We're at Old Trafford. Should be playing them off the park, says Sean Turner. I think he did play Martinez as a CDM, but he said he didn't like it. I'm sure there's a quote about that. Jar says, Mark, would you trust Fred in a holding? I wouldn't, so maybe that's why he doesn't start it. I think you're onto something there. I do think you're onto something there. I think, some people might say it's different shades of shit, but the reality is, who's the better CDM, Fred or McTominay? And we are talking about playing somebody as a CDM here. Hi Mark, it's my birthday and Wikipedia told me yours is in a couple of days as well. Hopefully United gift us a win today, says Roddy. Thank you very much, mate. And happy birthday to you. And Lee says, I don't like the lineup and it's not just about McTominay. I've always rooted for him, but I'm starting to lose a little patience with Sancho. Well, that's where I want to go next. We've spent time on McTominay. Hi Mark, it's my 23rd birthday today, says Dan. All I want is super wealth and McTominay gone. What, super wealth for yourself or super wealth for United? Dan, thank you very much for the super chat and happy birthday. This was the best chance to play Martinez and CDM, but we've missed it. Martinez, CDM, Sabitzer, CM, Barner, Bruno, Cam. If height issue, bring McTominay on, says Jack. And I would have gone with Martinez as CDM, with Shaw as left centre-back and Malacia as left-back. Each time Scotty plays, we plead for a miracle to happen, says Mario. Ten Hag has said that Martinez doesn't have the engine for the number 6. I knew he'd said something, Icy, so thank you very much for that. Thank you for all the super chats, by the way. You can do that through the $, and make sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We've spoken about McTominay. It is what it is. Hopefully he's going to have a good game tonight. Hopefully. If he doesn't, well, I don't know what to say, because he shouldn't be starting. He was rubbish against Fulham. He was rubbish against Newcastle. He'll probably start against Everton anyway. So, look, obviously we all want to win. I work at Ocean View Restaurant in San Diego. Would love to host the United stand there in the summer for a few pints. Sounds lovely, Luke. Sounds absolutely lovely. We'll let you know as soon as we know what our plans are. Abby says, what about Martial? I think Martial's injured. He's not injured. Bloody hell. God, be careful. You'll start a rumour. I think Martial is probably not fit enough to start at the moment. And I think that it's very, very clear that Erik ten Hag is taking his time with him. Anthony is improving. Arjen Robin vibes, says Supersonic. Well, I think the big thing about United, and I just want to go back to the team here, because that's what I'm going to talk about for the next couple of minutes. And I obviously want to get your good people's opinions. When I look at that Manchester United side, and Travis the Barber says, Mark, is there any position that McSauce can actually play? Much love from New Hampshire and 1886 Barbershop. Thank you very much, Travis. I think his best position's on the bench at the moment, if I'm being honest, but he's starting again. British Mark, who would be the most ideal option beside Casemiro next season, considering Frankie or Jude as potential choices? I would like Frankie de Jong, if I'm being honest. That's the player I want at United. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Yeah, I just want to talk about the Manchester United lineup anyway. And we've had another. Mikael says, I do not think we discussed Fred and Scooby in the starting lineup at this stage of the season. It's horrible. There you go. I think when you look at that team next to me, obviously we've spoken about McTominay. I don't think there's a well, there might be a bit of a big issue. We've not spoken about right back yet. We'll get on with that. Where can you watch matches for free, says CT. And you got a really good memory, Mark, says Abba. Thank you very much. That Sancho selection's big. I think actually, if he'd have picked Fred, we wouldn't be talking about the midfield. We'd be talking about Jadon Sancho. So let's have a little chat about Jadon Sancho, because I actually, the minute I saw the team, I was like, as long as Weghorst isn't starting, and if Martial's not ready, I'm okay with that. But then I started to think, well, he had a go at players for not putting a shift in on Sunday. Who's he dropped? He hasn't dropped anyone. He's dropped Weghorst, who he always says puts a shift in. Weghorst is the only player that's been dropped when you look at that team. That is the same team that played against Newcastle on Sunday. The same team that he said wasn't working hard and didn't put a shift in. So he's rewarded that team by picking it again. And Sancho came on and didn't do any work either. So he's dropped Weghorst, who we all know might not be good enough, but always puts a shift in. So I agree with what Adam's saying. He's making a point again, isn't he? He did exactly the same after the Liverpool game. He picked the same team again. So we're always learning. And we're learning with Ten Hag that actually he doesn't necessarily drop people because they didn't work hard for him. He will give him a second chance. And look, breaking it down even further, he didn't have a problem with the back five on Sunday. He felt that they did their job as well as they could do. It was the midfield and the attack that didn't work hard enough and didn't play very well. And it's the midfield and the attack that have survived in its entirety. McTominay, Bruno and Sabitzer, with that midfield, he hasn't changed it at all. And Sancho, Rashford and Anthony, well, all right, Sancho comes in for Weghorst, but Sancho is notorious for not putting a shift in. So, look, these players have got to deliver. That's my long points. They've got to come out there and deliver. And Jadon Sancho's got a massive game today. I mean, I said it in the preview that actually we will have 70% possession, or we should have 70% possession. And if you had an informed Jadon Sancho, this is the perfect game for him because we'll have a lot of the ball. So look, let's see what we can do tonight, but we've got to find a way of winning, and I'd like to win it comfortably. But big eyes on Jadon Sancho. I think we have started to struggle due to injuries and fatigue, but also think it's down to a lack of time to coach the players between games, says Yoza. And I think he picks the same team after a loss to prove to the players that they are capable of winning any team if the mentality is right, says Min. Thank you very much for that, pal. I played the game, says Justin K. And Elblade says, YTF is McTominay starting? Yeah, we've had that chat. And rather Pellistri any day, says Paul Lucas. Well, look, I probably would start Pellistri over Sancho, but the reality is Pellistri's better off the right, and so is Anthony. So I suppose Sancho gets the start because he can play off the left. I fear for both Sancho and Sabitzer because of McTominay's inability to control the midfield like Casemiro, says Jose. Mark, here we go. Super Sword says, do you think Jadon Sancho will prove a point to the haters on why he should stay? I don't think you prove anything in one game, mate. I don't. I think you can start a journey, but we've seen since Christmas that Jadon Sancho scored. It was because of him that we got back into the Fulham game as well. You know, it was Willian who handballed his shot. He came on at number 10 and played very well as well. We've seen glimpses. I mean, look, if Scott McTominay plays well tonight, there'll be certain people going, I've always stood by Scott. All the haters can sit down. And I'll put my hand up and say, I'm not sitting down. He's been shit for months. He's been shit for years. And he's had one good game. Well done. He should be doing that every bloody week. The problem we have is consistency. I expect, as a United fan, to see McTominay and Sancho play well tonight. And if they do play well tonight, happy days. They've got to do it week after week after week after week. You know, one sunny day doesn't make a summer. Or as I said the other day, one shag doesn't make a porno. Although sometimes it does. I fear for both Sancho and Sabitzer. We've done that one. Thank you very much. I've got a few questions coming in from the members. You can tell if someone's a member because they've got the badge next to their name, like Dean Downey. He says, I think Sancho needs another season to prove himself. Jadon Sancho's not going anywhere. Anybody who thinks that Jadon Sancho's getting sold this summer, absolutely not. I think the minimum that could happen to Jadon Sancho would be a loan deal, and I'd be stunned if that happened as well. Ten Hag has picked McTominay to wind you up, Mark, says Liam. I don't think Ten Hag wants to wind us up. I think Ten Hag... Look, I don't know what Ten Hag consumes. I don't know whether he's aware of social media, but he seems to be in tune with a lot of what we talk about tactically. And we're definitely big fans of him as a community. So I don't think Ten Hag would be trying to wind us up, to be honest. What do you think of Lampard to Chelsea? Says Gail. I don't know whether it's confirmed yet. I think it's laughable. And it'd be like Man United sacking Ten Hag and then say, we're looking for a manager in the summer, so we're going to bring Solskjaer back. I mean, it literally is that. I mean, I know we're talking about Man United, but so Chelsea have sacked Potter and they're bringing Lampard back till the end of the season. The guy that they sacked because he wasn't good enough. I mean, if you ever wanted a sign that Todd Bowley hasn't got a fucking clue what he's doing, that's it. I mean, bringing... Lampard is an ex-great footballer. He's a shit coach. Hola, America. Sorry, hello, Mark. Love your shows. Me thinks Ten Hag is giving chance to the team to prove Newcastle result was an anomaly. Well, it wasn't, Vaz. We lost. It's like Liverpool. We lost. They're not one-offs. They've happened too regularly. And it'll happen again. He's never going to... Look, Ten Hag can keep picking the same team and they can win the next game, but they'll drop him in the shit again. And he knows that. He's got to get to the summer and change it. This is going to be a tough game, but hopefully we come out with a win. We've got to win, Attic. We have to win tonight. There is no two ways about it. We've got to win tonight. Stuart Walker says, doing the same thing, expecting different results is what? It's becoming difficult not to question Ten Hag. When are we going to have a manager that stops giving second chances? This is the Premier League, not the Sunday League. Smoggy says, Eric Ten Hag laid the gauntlet down to the 11 to put right what went wrong. Rashi looks jaded at the moment. Hopefully Martial starts soon to give him a rest and sharpen us back. Off topic, who will win today, Barca or Madrid, says GJ. I didn't even know they were playing. Are they playing in the... What are they playing for? Cup or league? I'd say Barcelona will win anyway. Yeah, I'd say Barcelona will win that one. Would you take a draw tonight? No, absolutely not. And Psycho's a member. He says, what's wrong with Fred? I genuinely don't know. Up the Reds from LA and the 1878 Casuals, says Sean. Wakey, Marky, says Tony. I don't know. Look, I'm happy to... I want to talk about the right-back situation. I'm intrigued by... I said this at the weekend. It makes absolutely no sense to me that Fred didn't start against Newcastle. I think that I was really surprised that against Newcastle that we didn't go with Fred, because he gives that energy, tenacity. And one thing you can say about Fred, and we've got some quotes coming in from Erik ten Hag. One thing I would say about Fred is that it's really interesting to see a player that has been quite important to Manchester United this season. You think about that Spurs game and other games as well. I'm really surprised that he's not been starting. Can I just give a big shout out to Ian Carlton, because he's just gifted 5 memberships. What a legend of the chat he is. Really appreciate that, Ian. And Sai says, evening Mark, not feeling it again tonight. Are we getting a United stand live in the Northeast? Where would you do it? Where would we do it? And Cool says, Mark, against Brentford, how many non-informed players can we carry in these games? I know it varies, but by opposition intensity. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just think that and lovely, loads of people saying legend about Ian Carlton. You are, mate. You're an absolute legend. Thanks for gifting those members. One thing about Fred, I would always say, is that he can have a crap first half and then have a really good second half. And the reason for that is Fred always gives 100% for 90 minutes. He can be crap for 90 minutes. He can be crap for 40 minutes. He can be brilliant for 90 minutes. But he always gives 100%, Fred. I was stunned he didn't play at Newcastle. I mean, you're away from home against an energetic crowd and team, and you don't put Fred in the midfield. I was really surprised. I'm stunned he's not starting tonight when the midfield was so bad at the weekend. I'm just one. And also, remember, Fred didn't go on international duty. So he's fresh. He's fresh Fred. So I'm thinking with Fred, has he got this virus? Has he got an injury? Because it makes no sense. We build up evidence on what has gone before. And clearly Ten Hag likes picking Fred. So I'm stunned that we're not using him. And I don't know what the answer is to that. Mark, against Brentford, how many... I've done that one from Cool. And Moses says, Mark, is it really fair to be so critical Erik ten Hag selections when other probable midfield options for the next 2 games are risky anyway? Well, I don't think it's about fairness, Moses. It's about football opinion, isn't it? And it's not about fairness. Everybody's had an opinion since they started watching football. We're not... I think in the main, everybody really, really, really loves and supports Erik ten Hag. But as I said, we're not mice following the Pied Piper. We have an opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody wants McTominay to have a worldie tonight. I hope he does. I've no idea why Zidane doesn't get a chance. He's way better than Garnacho and Palestri, and he's definitely better than McTominay, Sabitzer and Fred, says Akrama. Thank you very much. And also Curtis has given us a super chat. He says, hi Mark, great job filling in for Fozzie on the full-in. You ran away with it. Keep up the great content. Thank you very much, Curtis. I really, really appreciate that. And Tiago says, why can't you just criticise after the game? Tiago, why don't you just jog on? Like, if you don't like it, we've been doing it for 7 years. This is what we do as a community. You don't have to watch. The One show's on. You go for a walk. Stop telling people how to live their lives. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I mean, bloody hell. People, when they get the team news, in every single ground, in every place in the world, talk about the team and go, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. There's people at Old Trafford now eating a pie in the concourse saying, what's bloody Sancho playing? Like, this is what happens. There's people sat in their seat waiting for the players to come out going, I can't believe he's done this, I can't believe he's done that. That's what happens. It's exactly what happens, and it's been happening for years. Is Erik ten Hag playing McTominay so much to try and sell him, says Henry? No, he's picking him because he wants to pick him. None of this nonsense. I don't know what the issue is with Fred, but look, he's picking him because he wants to pick him, and it's probably to do with height. Paul, thank you for the super chat. Anyway, from McTominay to Sancho to the third contentious one, it's not one I have an issue with, but it's all about covering all the bases, and I know a lot of you have mentioned it. Dalot at right back is an interesting one. A lot of people have spoken about that. Why is Dalot starting? Mahir says, this must be McSauce's last shot, man of the match or sell. I think he's had enough chances, hasn't he? But I don't think it'll be his last chance. I think, look, we're playing Brentford. They don't want the ball. You want to play a more attacking fullback and get forward. I think it's perfect that Dalot plays. We want to attack. Dalot is a better attacker than Wan-Bissaka, so I would pick Dalot in this game. But, you know, Wan-Bissaka easily could have started as well. Maybe because he was ill at the weekend, Ten Hag just feels that he's the better suit, and maybe we'll see Wan-Bissaka against Everton. I really hope United put 4 past these like they did to us at the start of the season while we were wearing those crappy green kits, says Ryan. And Beryl says, hi Mark, I'm wearing my new jersey that my boyfriend Carlos Santiano bought me. He's an angel. There we go. Love that, Beryl. Hope you're doing well. Big shout out to Carlos. Jack Shaw says, Liverpool fans want Brentford to win tonight, even though they would go ahead of them in the table. Liverpool they're not getting top 4, are they? So I don't blame them for that. It's called rivalry, isn't it? Every manager wants to pick McTominay. It stuns me, but I back the manager and respect his decision, and I've been here for a long time, and I respect you a lot, says Man United Hodge. I respect you too, pal. Mark, been watching your cooking series. Absolutely love it. You're a natural presenter with charm and good. I keep Trilliano. These keep coming up on my recommendations as well. I haven't done cooking with Goldbridge in ages, and they keep coming up. And the series I did in COVID as well, the 6 episode stuff as well. Tyler Cox, thank you very much for becoming a member. I feel like I've just done a combination of names there, but I think it actually is a proper name. Mark, Ten Hag is better than Ollie in regards to tactics and coaching. However, Ollie was miles better at man management, says Danny. Well, I know what I prefer. And Everton under Sean Dyche is having that belief, Mark. Would you agree, says Brandon. And I think 4 defenders on the bench. What are your thoughts on that, Mark? Says Andy Cheetham. Good point. Yeah, good point about the bench. If you look at the bench for Manchester United tonight, I've got it on my screen here. So Lindelof, Maguire, Martial, Malacia. Well, let's do it in order of position. Butland, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and then you've got Malacia, Fred, Weghorst, Pellistri, and Martial. I mean, we've got no midfield. He'd rather put a back 4 on the bench than give Mainu or Iqbal a place on the bench. That says everything. We've got 1 midfielder on that bench, and it's Fred. Do we have the relevant staff to help with the mentality problems? At least if they gave 100% every game, the lineups would feel better, says Mark Lawton. I mean, realistically, you don't need 2 centre-backs on the bench. You need Maguire or Lindelof, and then you could put another midfielder on. You don't need a back 4 on the bench. You probably need a right back in case anything happens to Dalot. You probably need Malacia in case something happens to Luke Shaw. But if anything happens to Martinez, you shift Luke Shaw to centre-back and you put Malacia at left-back. And then you need another Lindelof for Varane. You don't need 2 centre-backs when you've got Luke Shaw in the team. What's going on with Van der Beek? He's injured. Fine. Slow sort of news. Chelsea bringing Lampard back is hilarious, Smoggy. I cannot believe it. Sean Dyche would love McTominay. Love you, Mark. Absolute legend, says Arshan. And where do I watch this tonight, says Jacob. And just got in and want to know how you feel about Scott starting, says Brandon. Good news is I got engaged this past weekend, so not even Scooby-Doo can bring me down. Brandon, I'm not down. I said what I said when the team news came out, and I'll say it again. I've got no idea why he's starting logically, because I don't get it's the Fred issue. I don't get, if you've got nobody else, fine. But Fred didn't start against Newcastle and he's not starting tonight. And he'd be the first name on the midfield for me. In the games like this that we've got, Fred's got to start. Now, if there is a layer that we're not aware of, that Fred's ill or he's carrying an injury, absolutely fine, I get it. But McTominay was dreadful against Fulham and got subbed off at half-time. McTominay was dreadful against Newcastle and got subbed off and played in 2 positions. He may well score tonight because at the end of the day, you know, if you keep, look, you could be crap at darts, absolutely crap at darts, and you can see, you could give somebody who's crap at darts and say, hit a 20. The other week, I was down at Ben Foster's studio, and he was doing this darts challenge, and how many darts, what you can hit with 9 darts. Well, I can play darts, so I was going for 20s, and I kept hitting 1s and missing, so I ended up with a reasonable score. Thogden can't play darts, gets hold of the fucking darts and just starts throwing them. Hits triple this, triple that, this, you know, ends up with a higher score than me. Beginner's luck. He's just throwing darts, and I think that's a little bit. At some point, McTominay will have a good game because, you know, he's just throwing darts, and at some point he's going to hit the target. Surely, you know, he's having so many chances. At some point he's going to have a good game, and I hope it's going to be tonight. But I don't know what the issue is with Fred. I don't know why Fred's not playing. It doesn't make any sense in relation to. We've seen our midfield fully fit with Eriksen, Casemiro and Bruno, and he still started Fred. So to not be picking Fred when Eriksen and Casemiro aren't here, I'm amazed. I don't know. Do you think he has Fred on the bench so he has an impact midfield player from the bench if we need it? It doesn't make any sense, Moses. Why have an impact midfielder on the bench when you should start him? Casemiro's a big absence, but we miss Eriksen in the midfield almost as much, says Lee. I completely agree with you. And I'd rather try Maguire or Lindelof at CDM. Both of them are better on the ball than Scott. We need 3 points today. Look, as I said, the positive is we're playing a team tonight and on Saturday that don't want the ball. If we don't have 70% possession tonight, something's gone wrong. Because Brentford average about 30% possession. And that means if you've got 70% possession, you're having a lot of the ball and you're not getting pressed. So really, McTominay should just be able to get on the ball and pass the ball tonight. And it might work because actually he is a better passer of the ball than Fred from deep. Mark, we've been waiting for that one. Good game since Leeds, says Akil. I really like Sabitzer. Look at his movement and more. His quality, says Ray. Look, big chance for Sabitzer tonight. The fact that Ten Hag has picked him in the last 2 games as well shows you that there's a chance for Sabitzer at this club. Tiger Claws, if you had to keep 2 of Maguire, McTominay and Weghorst, who would it be? And also, would you consider Potter as Southgate's replacement for England? 100%. I'd take Potter over Southgate. I'd take Harry Potter over Southgate. I'd take Beatrix Potter over Southgate, and she's dead. Wrote some good books, though. Peter Rabbit. Oh, I don't like Peter Rabbit. If you're on the show, if you're on the tour, I don't like Peter Rabbit. Little prat rabbit in a coat. His dad got killed by Mr. McGregor and put in a pie. So what was Peter Rabbit's revenge? Oh, I'm going to go in his vegetable garden and nick some carrots. You should go in his house, claw his eyes out and shit in his face. But, you know, but Beatrix Potter wrote that and I'd take her over Southgate. So if I had to keep 2 of Maguire, McTominay and Weghorst, I would probably say McTominay and Weghorst probably. Yeah. As the presenter of the show, your job is to portray both the pro and cons of the Super League. It's unfair to just focus on the bad. Learn your job, says Danny. Yeah, we're not even talking about the Super League, Danny. Where do I watch this tonight? Don't air me this time, says Jacob. I ain't telling you, Jacob. I'm not fucking thick. You can listen to it on TalkSport. Or someone in the chat might tell you. If there's anything I want McTominay to do tonight, is to have at least 1 shot outside the box. We're playing against Raya. Alvito, look, this is what we do on this channel. We've got some Ten Hag comments to come back to you with, but I'm absolutely over the moon that we can just for 1 minute do what I'm going to call a new section of the show, which is opposition focus. So opposition focus is where we look at the opposition. Now we're obviously aware of Tony and the way that Brentford play, and that system they've got there is because they can't put a back 5 on. It'll be a back 5, it'll be deep, and it'll be counter-attacking. Fred has been bad for too much as due to the Premier refusing him on international duty, says Paul. I don't know what that's all about. And hi Mark, will you do a beer cheer if we win today? Says actually, we need to win today. But look, we are playing Brentford today, and we are playing against the goalkeeper that many of our fans who have this issue with David De Gea, you know, are obsessed with. So we're playing a goalkeeper today that many United fans who don't like De Gea think is the dog's bollocks. So let's keep an eye on Raya tonight. Let's see what he's all about. So there you go, opposition watch. There. Right. let's have a look at what Eric Ten Hag's been saying. Can I just say as well, where do you think Brentford can hurt us? I think we need to look after the ball because they're clinical on the breaks as runner. Brentford aren't going to pass the ball around. They're not going to dominate the play. That's not what they're all about. I think you're right. I think set pieces is good for them. Counter attack is good for them. They don't lose many. They don't concede many. And we're going to have to be patient on the ball. Can I just give a shout out to Boohoo Man? I'm wearing one of their hoodies, as you can see. Very comfortable. You can get all sorts of stuff from them. Fantastic clothing at a really reasonable price. You can also get an extra 10% off with that code. Scan the QR code and you'll get 10% off, or go through the link in the description. Use the code Goldbridge. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. Right, what was I going to say? I was going to say something and I've completely forgotten. What I was going to say is this. I've forgotten. Oh yeah, I wanted to have a look at Eric Ten Hag's comments before the game. So I've played the game. Let's have a look what Eric Ten Hag has had to say pre-game. He's had quite a lot to say. He said that, oh God, we've got quite a lot here. Well, Sabitzer says, we analysed the game on Sunday. We did not play well. It was a well-deserved win for Newcastle, but we've got to bounce back tonight. Ten Hag has spoken about Jadon Sancho. He says, Jadon is in good progress. He's creative, and I think that is what we need. Brentford can defend in a low block, really compact in the block, so we need players who can create something with the dribbles, with movements of thinking outside the box. Exactly. So Jadon can do it. Also Anthony and Sabitzer and Rashford. So there we go. That's Ten Hag's thinking. I want to see a team that's energetic, focused, proactive, and dynamic. Brentford are a great team. That is clear and obvious. They're doing really well. I admire how they play, but we have to win, so we have to find a way to win. On Sancho starting, creativity. Jadon is making good... I've done that one. Asked about why he's not made any changes. He says there's no need to change a lot of the 11 because we are doing well, but I think we have to reflect on Sunday. That doesn't make any sense, does it? There's no need to change the team because we're doing well. We just lost 2-0 and you told us that they didn't... There's a contract. Look, Ten Hag can do what he wants, but we can also analyse what he says. He said twice since Sunday that the players couldn't be asked. He's then said, I don't need to change it because we're playing well. So what is it? They can't be asked and they didn't play well, or they did play well. We need full discipline in defending, also any offensive challenges and duels in order to break a compact opponent. So I think he's expecting a tough challenge, which I think many of you are. And I think he's also expecting, that we're going to have to be really patient. Man United don't traditionally, even if you go back to the Solskjaer and Mourinho days, we don't traditionally do well against a low block, do we? So it's going to be a very interesting game tonight and in how Manchester United break it down. But I'm not going to change my prediction. I think we'll keep a clean sheet and I think we'll win 2-0. That's my feeling. Really hoping Sancho takes his chance, says Christian, where we can keep a bit more possession around their box. And I think Anthony is going to have it tough against Henry, says Christian. Brentford to counter-attack, but that just means our defence and attack can't be so far apart like last game. Let's see, says SK. Look, Brentford counter-attacked us with Harry Maguire in the team. It's a very different team to try and counter-attack when you've got Varane at centre-back. Refreshing having a coach who can talk tactics to us before and after games. Remember, Ollie, it was always we could talk tactics all day, but we didn't talk tactics. Yeah, definitely. Are you feeling confident, everyone? Are you feeling confident? I mean, I genuinely still do feel confident. I don't think it changes my opinion on the game. We are at home, but ultimately, we are where we are. I've got a mate who's at the game. He said, I've seen 3 Weghorst shirts already. What's going on? I've got somebody telling me Lampard's the right choice. There we go. Right. Yeah. Tell me how you're feeling. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Bottom right hand corner. I've got no idea how we're doing, but you are on the United Stand. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock. We're live every night at 8 o'clock and everything in between. We're live for every game as well. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. It's free to do it. Get involved with the United Stand community. You're all really, really welcome on the channel. And I hope you're all doing well. And we're only 300 subscribers away from 627,000. So let's see if we can hit that tonight. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with the United Stand. me just send that. Is it confirmed? Who have you got in the worlds? Getting old, I have to say my words as I'm typing them. If Weghorst is dropped, then it's completely the right decision. He should never play again, says Life in Slow-Mo. And Mark, I read Lampard's in as Bowley camp in 100% panic mode, right? Surely must have had another manager at least in talks. United need a win, says Esker. I'd have kept Potter. I mean, getting rid of Potter to bring Lampard in is just bloody stupid. And they will reap the benefit. They will reap the danger of that. Unpopular opinion, I'd take a draw here and a win over Everton, says Fabian. And Mark, I can't keep doing this, says Jacob. I can't keep turning my telly on and seeing Scooby-Doo in our starting lineup. We need transfers so badly this summer, says Jacob. And Winston says, hi Mark, cheers from New York City. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. I added that bit in. Thanks for all you do. What's your score prediction per day? I'd love a 2-0 win with goals from Rashi and Martial. Yeah, I'm completely going to go with Manchester United to win. I don't care. I don't really care how we do it. 2-0 will be absolutely fine. But I'm confident. I'm confident because we have to win. We have to win tonight. There's no room for manoeuvre. You look at, Newcastle are playing West Ham, of course, tonight at 8 o'clock. I mean, we could do West Ham doing a bit of a job for us tonight as well, and hopefully they will do. But there's no room for manoeuvrement for Manchester United tonight. We've got to win. Delo played versus Newcastle, Liverpool City, and Brentford, says Roger. Don't tell us that, Roger. That's not what we want to hear. We don't want to hear about that. Anthony and Sancho can change sides, says Lee. I love Wout, says Nathaniel, but I think dropping him and using him off the bench will translate to a better first half overall performance. Well, I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, Wout Weghorst, and I don't really propose that we spend more than a minute talking on this, but Wout Weghorst essentially is a player that is a bench player at this level. He's nothing more than that. I don't think anybody really would see him as anything more than that. So realistically, if he's coming off the bench to give us something that we haven't got, I don't think anyone has a problem with that. I think the problem has been the starting of games at this level, has been a bit of a problem. And clearly Anthony Martial probably isn't ready to start games at the moment. So I think the right choice is to go with Marcus Rashford. Matteo says, Mark, did you submit your resume to manager Chelsea? I didn't. I probably would have got it. Mark, love the shows as always, says Keenan. What is your score prediction? We lack depth on the wing back. Surely a cheap player like... Oh, yeah, well done. Absolute fool. As if I'm going to fall for that. We need to bolster our squad, says Alex. Well, we can't do that till the summer. And obviously, it's looking like... If I'm being honest, it's looking like the sale is still very, very slow at the moment. So, yeah, we're still very slow with that. Why does Delo start? He's poor. Humble me, Delo, says Marcus Brown. I think Eric Ten Hag explained it himself, didn't he? When he said that it's close. It's very close between Delo and Wan-Bissaka. So, yeah. And he said that, sometimes it's about the opposition, and it's about whether you want to attack more or whether you're going to be more defensive, who's in better form, who's got more in the tank. So right now, he obviously feels that Delo is the one to go with. Delo has played in all our huge defeats, says Roger. You've told us that, yeah. Look, he's gone with the team that he's gone with. Some people are going to be happy with that. Some people not. I'm not massively concerned, but yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, it's about Chelsea. No one's going to be interested in updates on Chelsea. New York, country jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can do. Mark, would you... okay, you're gone. Shahir. Shahir's a racist, by the way. Shahir Ali is a racist. So let's all shout him out for that. He's a racist, trying to get me to say a racist word. What a vile piece of shit you are, Shahir. But it's always good to expose somebody for what they actually are. And you ain't clever. You're just a racist. Fuck off. Anyway, let's get back on the show. We are only 10 minutes away from the start of this game. An 8 o'clock kickoff, of course, for Manchester United at Old Trafford. A game we've got to win. We're getting to that point now where all the talk will be over and it will be down for these players to deliver. And deliver is what they need to do tonight, because I'm sure you've seen the league table going round, and I'll put it up for you now. The way it's looking ain't too bad. It's not too bad for Manchester United at the moment, but you've got to start winning these games that are in front of us. And looking at the league table, you've got 50 points for United. Look, a point puts us above Spurs, and we still have a game in hand. I want to see us winning against Spurs tonight. Sorry, I want to see us winning against Brentford and Everton, putting 6 points on the board, and then Spurs looking at it and going, bloody hell, this is going to be a tough race for us. We can't open the door to anybody. We've got to be shutting that door. And look, at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're, Newcastle, Spurs, Brentford, Everton. We got to go and get these results at home. And our record under Eric Ten Hag at home is good. Mark, I hope that we can go back to winning ways. By the way, I love your content, says Carmine. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Score predictions, says Alex. Well, everyone knows my score prediction, so type it in the chat. Frank says, I think it'll be a tough game. Mod is one of our members and says, I don't feel good about today. Mark, why it still hurts that Ronaldo's not here, says Kundan. It doesn't hurt me. We'll be having a show in LA, says the league. I don't know at the moment. I don't know. And if we sign Frimpong, which right back would you sell, says Go? I think it's Wan-Bissaka who wants to go. If we're signing a right back, it's because Wan-Bissaka wants to go. I think that's quite obvious. So I wouldn't do it. But if Wan-Bissaka wants to go, then you've got to do it, haven't you? I can't see why you'd bring a right back in. I don't see a massive improvement over what we've got. And I think actually we've got a good balance at right back. You've got Wan-Bissaka who offers certain things, and then you've got Delot who offers the other. Do you think Michael Carrick is ready to take over a team in the Premier League? No, Broken. I don't. And I think people try to, promote managers too quick. It's like Vincent Kompany at Burnley, who's been at Burnley longer than Carrick's been at Middlesbrough. I think these people need to be given time, and I think it's too soon. So I'd like to see Carrick stay at Middlesbrough a little bit longer. Oh God, I've seen Beth doing a video saying that Brentford will target De Gea. The only person targeting De Gea is you, Beth. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. This is an agenda. This is absolutely ridiculous. They won't not target bloody De Gea because they won't have enough of the ball to target De Gea. They'll whip some crosses into the box to try and, target people like Martinez and maybe De Gea on crosses a little bit. But they're not bloody Wimbledon. They're not the crazy gang. Can't wait to see you and Fozzie here in San Diego for the United Wrexham game. Let's get a dub today, says Tariq. Thank you very much, mate. I forgot he'll be over there, yeah. Well, if he's still at Wrexham. I think he wants to be at Wrexham. We need a big game from Scooby-Doo tonight. Yes, we do. Surely we are going to see a big game from Scooby-Doo tonight. If you're struggling to find anywhere to watch the game in the UK because it's ridiculous stupidity that it's not on the TV in the UK, get yourself on TalkSport. They've got free global coverage of the game, exclusive radio coverage in the UK, TalkSport. Obviously, I have a show on TalkSport. I was on TalkSport this morning with Laura Woods and Ali McCoist, actually, but I have my own show on a Saturday night, but TalkSport have got it. Jordan Perez says, hi Mark, I'm going to Manchester for the weekend to watch United versus Everton. Do you have any good pub or bar recommendations? Depends where you're going, Jordan. I quite like it down Salford Quays. There's some nice bars around there. There is, if you're looking for a match day experience, there's plenty of pubs around there, like the Bishop's Blaze. And if you're actually in Manchester, there's some cracking pubs in Manchester. So, yeah, I've got 3 options there. Depends where you're going. Depends where you're going, lad. Just bought a load of cider and just realised we ain't on the telly. I'm gutted, says Daniel. Don't worry, we'll have you all up to date with what's going on. All up to date. Mark G says, go to Canal Street, Mark. I'm not going to Manchester. So I know what you're getting at. And look, I think tonight proves what agenda is and what agenda isn't. Like, the De Gea thing eats people up. If you don't like De Gea, they spend every minute of every day tweeting about it. I don't rate McTominay. He started in the midfield. I had a little moan, and now I'm like, I hope he has a good game. I don't... If Scott McTominay scores, I'll celebrate it. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, I just want what's best for Man United. I want us to get top 4. Any advice on how to get over an X, says Red Devil? Get on another X. No, don't. That sounds wrong. The way to get over an X is to get under a new one. They've got to be consenting, of course. Ten Hag is adamant he feels Scott can play better as an attacking midfielder. Hope he has a good game and that's out of the way. Advanced birthday wishes, by the way, says Kanishka. Thank you very much. Players are in the tunnel and ready to go. I love your content. Been watching you since last 4 years. Hope to see you when you come to the States, says Hamlet. And will you do a show tour in Birmingham or even better at Resorts World, my part of the world, says WJ Barrett. I think our next UK venue will be in Birmingham. I know we've got a few dates lined up in June. As soon as I know about them, we'll release those dates. We normally put it on the members section first just to give them a little bit of a boost because they, support the channel. I'm going to shout out a few members actually. If you want to join the members club, you can do that by clicking the join button. Obviously, Ian Carlton's already gifted 5 memberships because he's a legend. But big shout out to Adam M. He says top quality advice, nothing like a new nest. Kevin says United, come on United. We've had a Hamlet who's a member. He says love your content. We've done that one, haven't we? And Joshua Bowwater's a member. Of course he is, and he's given us a super chat. Everyone knows who Joshua is. Evening Mark, I think this midfield will work better without Weghorst. Rashford's pace will help create more space for the midfielders to bomb on, even if that means McSaul starts in the 10 like last time. Very good comment. I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to see and hear. Is McTominay going to play as the holding midfielder, or are we going to play the pivot of Bruno and Sabitzer again and stick McTominay more advanced? I'm 50-50 on that. Maybe when you're playing against a team that doesn't have a lot of the ball, you can afford to play Sabitzer and Bruno there because they won't be pressed. Do you think the Lampard thing has to do with no manager willing to take over right now, says Rob? The danger for Chelsea is that Lampard comes in a team that's really got nothing to lose, starts winning and they keep him. It could end up like Solskjaer. Kazan, welcome to Members Club. Louis, thank you very much and welcome to Members Club. Mark, who do you think will be our star player tonight, says GB. I don't care who the star player is tonight as long as we win. For me, I hope it's Scott McTominay. I don't care as long as we win. Welcome to Members Club. Chris Slater, Sean Eade has just gifted a membership. You're a legend, Sean. Kane, welcome to the Members Club. Jordan and Dwayne as well. You're legends. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I agree with you, Mark. The quality of my day is not decided on what players do well on a football pitch, says Billy Thomas. And just hoping for a good game. The team seems to be in cup mode, says Oto. Look, there's so many exciting games to come for Manchester United, haven't we? Over the next few weeks, and we've just got to get back to enjoying. That's what surprised me over the last couple of days. Seems a lot of people who just want to moan, I've enjoyed Man United this season, and I want to enjoy Manchester United this season. We've got so many, we've got a Europa League quarter-final. I always think Europe's intriguing when you get to this point. We're in a race for top 4, which will put us into the Champions League. We're in an FA Cup semi-final where we can upset Man City. I just want to enjoy it. And, you know, Casemiro's back next week. So's Eriksen. Hopefully Martial can stay fit. So, you know, we just want to enjoy it, don't we? Goldman, welcome to the Members Club. You're a legend. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone who's tuning in. We're very close to 30,000 watching, which is pretty good for a Wednesday night after an international break. So welcome back everybody who's getting back into their football. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. We're getting very close to 627,000. We're only 200 away. So bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Thank you very much for getting involved with the channel. United Stand, massive community, be part of it. We're live every day. And don't forget, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. I'm wearing my Boohoo Man hoodie, 10% off with the code Goldbridge. Get yours delivered to your door. They've got loads of stuff, tracksuits, gym wear, the lot. You can get a job lot at Boohoo Man for a very reasonable price with an extra 10% off with the code Goldbridge. Check it out through the link in the description or scan the QR code as it goes past. That's the starting lineup for United. The stats will be updating live as we go around. Remember, our stats are sponsored by OneFootball. You can download OneFootball through the link in the description as well. Scan the QR code. The great thing about OneFootball is that you go to the Man United Brentford game and you see the what do you see? You see the stats of the individual players as well. So our stats are all about possession and shots and everything, but they have the individualised stats as well. Free to download on Apple and Android. Links in the chat for that, or scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner. We're ready to go. I'm Roddy Pickering. We're ready to go. We're about ready to go here. I'm going to sync my timer in with what I'm listening to because that's the best way to do it. But obviously, I think we're going to have people all over the shop because this happens when it's not on the telly. So keep up. If you want to sync in with us, you can do. And obviously, if you are watching, as always, give us your tactical analysis. I love all this. I love to know what people think about the game tactically, whether somebody's doing this a lot or that a lot. You know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you know what I mean. Are the overlaps working? Are we inverted? Are we playing a high line? Is somebody linking up the play? Mark, Beth needs a word for going for David, Sissy and Carlton. She's not unique. You know, can only assume Fred has a knock. This game is tailor made for his energy. Sorry, I was completely lost away. Yeah, I think with Fred that there probably is an issue. Yeah. Can only assume Fred has a knock, says Charlie Max. Thanks, Charlie. This game is tailor-made for his energy, confident of reaction, Anthony to score. And Ashton says, today's my birthday. I need a United to win to end the day off. I tell you what, there's a lot of birthdays today. A lot of birthdays. Happy birthday to Ashton. There's a lot of birthdays today, which makes me think a lot of parents, well, you don't have to be parents to be married, to have kids. A lot of people were getting jiggy with it back in September. I miss Casemiro, says M1K. Chilled says, McTominay, really? Yes, McTominay, really. Right, I need to have a stretch. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Love your show. Come on, United, says Andres. No. There's a load of birthdays around at the moment. Early corner for Manchester United. I'd love I tell you what, we talk about football a lot, don't we? We talk, you know, if you look at percentage of us talking about football, I'd say 90% of our chat is when a match isn't on. When you think about all the evening shows, all the transfer shows in the summer, when the whistle blows, we actually can talk about football. And I tell you what, I'd love Man United to get an early goal. Absolutely love it. And we don't. The corner gets cleared. Energy's up, says Robert. Well, I think, isn't Man United, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but isn't Man United's home record ridiculous under Ten Hag? I haven't got an 80% win ratio. Hello from Spain. Watching all the games on DAZN. Keep up the great work, says Matthew Jones. Thank you very much. I'm a bit nervous, says Shub. I'm not nervous about a game like this. We should be winning a game like this. I'd be pissed off if we don't. Mark, would you like to score first for United? Rashford or McTominay, says GB. I'd love McTominay to score first. I'd love it. Scooby-Doo. Luke Shaw in the CDM role there has just picked it up in the midfield and ran down the right-hand side all the way to the edge of the box and then fell over. But put Luke Shaw at CDM, I say. Just took hold of the midfield at CDM. I don't think Scott McTominay's playing more advanced. I think he's playing as the holding midfielder. I think Sabitz is playing as the 10 and Bruno is pushing on with McTominay as the deeper player. So it looks like Bruno is playing as the box to box. McTominay's the holding midfielder and Sabitz as the 10. I think. Hi Mark, will you call my friend Shane from Galway a prat? He listens to every word. Love the show, says Louise. Shane, you're a prat from Louise. Good start, says Jan. I like it. I like the intensity. How can an 8 PM kickoff not be on the TV, says Umzi. How are Brentford playing, says Bear. Well, you'll get the stats in a minute. They won't. I'm telling you now. They will not have more than 30% possession. And Waleed says it's been a great start. Well, we're hungry like a wolf. Hungry like a wolf here because we're at home. The crowd are up for it. We know we need to win. Hi, Mark. Do you think Sancho is under the microscope or would you say there's no chance we sell him? No, we're not selling him this summer, Drew. Not selling him. Ben, thank you very much for your super chat. We're not selling him. No way. Not this summer. He'll get another year at United. Jordan's very happy with the start. Brentford are a counter-attacking team anyway. You know, you'd be. I don't know why I've frozen because there's nothing wrong with my bloody stream. It says the stream is healthy. Oh, it's back again now. I hate it when it does that. Like there's absolutely nothing going wrong. Doesn't make any sense. I was just checking it there. Oh, it used to be something you could check. Refresh it. I don't know why. I've got no problem with my internet at all. It might be YouTube. Beth hacked to the stream bridge. Hi Mark from Argentina, says Sam, been keeping up with the team for the last couple of months, but from your viewpoint, where will Man United's pressure be felt the most? Says Semelon. I'm just trying to have a quick look here and try and sort this out. There we go. I've had no drop frames at all on YouTube or my streaming service, so God knows. I got no idea. I don't know what that was all about. I've had no breaks or anything. If anyone's on Virgin Media, you've just made me think. If you've got your internet through Virgin, it ain't nothing to do with me. So Virgin's been crap. So if you're watching it on Virgin, it might be you. Right. Anyway, we've had 7 minutes here. Oh, it froze in India, so it's definitely not Virgin. I don't know. Might be. I don't know what it is. It's not a problem at my end. So we're not. Anyway, boring. We're not talking about that. Watching this. Mark, can you give a shout out? I've done that one from GB. That was a repeat. Right. I'm just going to edit something here because we're just getting a load of. I'm going to put it onto slow mode in the chat because we're just getting loads of repetition and I want to talk about the football. So let me just slow it down a little bit there. Thank you. Thanks everyone who's watching, by the way. Newcastle are winning 1-0. That's annoying. They're on fire at the Newcastle. They're on fire, Newcastle, at the moment. Mark, we've got too many passes and not enough dribblers. Luke Shaw's runs show that blocks can be dribbled through. Blocks tend to stop passing lanes, says SK. We're going to have a lot of possession tonight. A lot of possession. And Brentford will look to just hit on the break. You know, they beat us 4-0 at their place with 30% possession. Had a crapper at work, Mark. I need United to give us a win. To be fair, I just want a better performance than last game. Love the show, says Big Dave. And Mark, I'm in Dubai and you froze, says Hader. Mate, I don't know what it is. Some people are talking about the audio. It's absolutely fine at my end. So what I would say is, if it's working for some people and it's not working for others, and I've got no problems at my end, there's not a lot we can do about it. Hi, Mark. Do we think Martial will see any minutes today? I think we definitely will see Martial today. He's on the bench, isn't he? So I think we will definitely see him. Somebody just said if you refresh it, it should help. Mark, what's the plan for San Diego and Vegas, says Max. I don't have one at the moment, if I'm being honest. Another corner. Man United have had a lot of corners here. Unfortunately, we don't have a massive amount of height. McTominay, Varane, that's probably about it, really. Not really that good in the air. Bam, 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 bam. Another corner for Manchester United here. Cross comes in. Anthony heads it away. I mean, look, it's a lot of possession for Man United, but I wouldn't say Brentford are struggling at the moment. Sander says we don't normally score from corners. Odin likes Thomas Frank. Alloy, thank you very much for your super chat. I'd try and keep the ball on the ground here. 4 years this month, Mark. Cheers to you and the rest of the United stand, says Bryce, who's been a member for 48 months. Wow, Bryce, that's a long time, isn't it? Just shows you how long we've been going for. How many points needed for a successful season, Mark? What have we got on that screen? 50 points. I mean, I'd like to have seen us get 80 points this season, but we're not going to do it, are we? I think we've got 11 games left, which means we'd have to win 10, which we're not going to do. I'd like to see us get like 75 points, but I don't think we'll do that. I can see us getting about 70 points this year. 70 points would be better than last year, wouldn't it? But look, you know what? You say 70 points is a good season, but last season was a terrible season and we got 59. 11 points is not a lot of points, is it, when you consider how shite last year was? So I'd like to see us hitting mid-70s, but I don't think we're going to do it, are we? Because 11 games left, 12 if you include this, I think I'm right with that. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see us do a bit better than that. Mark, why is Fred being benched? It's ridiculous. I think there must be an issue with him, J-Lings fam. Hope you're doing well, mate. Not heard from you in a while. McSauce will score the winner from outside the box. I'll love it, Alloy. I'll bloody love it if he does. I will love it if he does that. Anybody tonight will do. Oh. Ericsson in the crowd. Adam says that McTominay's been hiding already. So what we had, 12, coming up for 13 minutes. Newcastle had scored to make it 2-0, but it's offside. They're on fire, Newcastle, aren't they? They're just bloody I said it on Friday. I did a video on That's Football, and I said I think it will be Man United and Newcastle for top four, because Newcastle have got no European football, and they're full of themselves at the moment. They really are. We definitely need a midfielder. It's so annoying that we have to play Scooby-Doo, says Sebastian. And I know he was on the team sheet, but is McTominay even playing, says Jonathan. Yeah, I just headed it away. Ray's short passes out the back aren't that good, so that should be something we exploit. He's good with long balls, but watch him closely, says Robert. Oh, well, Robert, you're going to upset a lot of United fans there, because apparently Raya can do no wrong. We need 76 points to equal Solskjaer's supposedly great season, says Umzil. And Chris says, I hope you're doing well, Mark. Let's hope we can be more dynamic and have more chances with Rashford on instead of Voot, and hopefully Fred comes on as well, says Chris. Bam, 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 bam. It's onside and it's 2-0 to Newcastle already. Bloody hell. Fucking hell. They ain't messing around. I was hoping. I mean, Newcastle have got Brentford on Saturday. So, Sancho's done all right there. Evening, Mark. Hope all well. Would you rather win the Europa or get top four? I want top four, Alec. I mean, you can't turn down a trophy, but that's the last game of the season waiting to get top four. I'd be very nervous about that, because it would mean we'd finished outside the top four and reliant on the Europa. Delo, nothing comes of it there. I agree with Benjamin. I think Newcastle the last few weeks have been a little bit like what they were at the start of the season. They've just found that form again that they'd lost. But I'm not... Look, Newcastle, what's the difference between third and fourth? You know, oh, we finished above you. Well, we beat you in the cup. So top four is the most important thing. But I think if we use Newcastle as the target, you know, you always need a target. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Will says, what do you think about Lampard going back to Chelsea? I think it's hilarious. It's like Solskjaer coming back to United. I think it's absolutely hilarious. A lot of Chelsea fans love it, though, because they love sentimentality. I mean, we like sentimentality, but no one wants Solskjaer back. I'm stunned that Chelsea fans are happy with Lampard going back. He's a shit coach. Like... He'd probably win a few games now because Chelsea, you know, feel good factor. In fact, I guarantee I'd be scared if I was a Chelsea fan, because look at what happened with United. You know, bad manager goes, players are desperate for, you know, it not to be their fault. Ex-legend comes in, happy-go-lucky, and we suddenly start winning games. The worry for me if I was a Chelsea fan was that they might give Lampard a long contract if he goes and wins 3 or 4 games in a row. United, well, we've had nearly 20 minutes already, actually. Struggling to break down the low block at the moment. Leicester and Southampton in relegation positions. I'd feel some quality players to raid them, says SK. I like Lavia at Southampton, but City have got first refusal because he was one of their players. I do like Bella Kotchup. I don't know what Ten Hag thinks about him. At Leicester, probably would take Tielemans. That's probably... Mark, I feel like the weakness in the current United's competition is the transition from the midfield to the forwards, says Sam. Do you agree with this? Well, I think you're asking me how I'd fix it. Eriksen and Casemiro. I've got a free kick on the edge of the box for Manchester United here. That was definitely a free kick on Sabitzer as well. Came through the back of him quite hard. Good refereeing. Chance for United on the free kick. I mean, these are the sort of games that you want to score a goal in. Sabitzer can take a free kick. Mark, Bruno can take a free kick and Rashford might fancy it. Do you think Bruno and Rashford are not mentally strong enough to lead this team to trophies like last season? Says Hashit. Look, I like Bruno and I like Rashford. Are they mentally strong enough on their own? I think the likes of Casemiro and Varane give them that, really. Mark Flash says, I don't think we're going to win this. You've got to score. I know I don't want to be Michael Owen, but you've got to score. Any players from Brentford you'd have at United, says Selt. Yeah. Who's the ref today, says Miles. Don't know. We skied that free kick, by the way. I think it went off the wall. If Lampard isn't careful, Chelsea might sack him for the new lad Tuchel, says PQ. And Mark, you're right. I'm watching McTominay. He hides so much. He doesn't find the pockets. Watch him. I try not to. Yellow bathing suit, really. Brooks is the referee, says Mr. Poggy. Another corner for United. And headed away. We're not going to cause them any problems, are we, from set pieces? It's very unlikely. Yeah, Newcastle's next game's Brentford, at Brentford, and Brentford have got a really good home record, so hopefully we can find a way of winning to this tonight, ideally by 3 or 4-0. Brentford get an absolute humbling, and then they need to bounce back against Newcastle on Saturday. Hi Mark, any ideas why McTominay's always dragging his feet and slow to get from one side of the pitch to the other? He's like a walking block, says Let's Talk. Cameron says they're going to bring on Weghorst. I can see it. Well, if it stays like this for 80 minutes, I can see us bringing on Weghorst just to whack crosses into the box. But he's not actually that good in the air. I can't believe that Jeff's just said it, McTerminator. I can't believe they call him McTerminator. Like the players call him McTerminator. And he's just nearly scored. Scooby-Doo. That would have been great. That would have been a clip I would have loved to have gone viral with. Edge of the box, arriving late, hits it over the bar. I can't believe they call him McTerminator. Like, what's he done to... to be fair, he's hit it. Look, he's got a good shot on him, McTominay. We all know that. He did that at Scotland. I can't see us winning this. We can't even engineer a move into their box, says Nick P. That's probably the best chance we've had in the first 20 minutes. And he's hit it quite well, but just over the bar. Always nearly, says Chris. Well, yeah. It's not enough, is it? You know, the ability to arrive late in the box and get a shot off, it's not enough. Not enough at this level. You need a lot more. I'll tell you who was brilliant at arriving late and getting a shot off. Frank Lampard. Paul Scholes. They were brilliant at it. But they were also brilliant at loads and loads and loads and loads of other things. It was a good cutback by Anthony, says Paul Irwin. Yeah, but I do wonder why he's got the nickname McTerminator. It's probably because he's very rough in training. Hi Mark, he's very well built. You know, if you don't think McTominay's very good, you've got to back yourself if you'd say it to his face. Because he's a big lad and he's well built. Hi Mark, can you call Ben and Max a prat, says Schnozzle. United are on the attack here, mates. It's with Sancho. And he gets tackled, but he's won it back. Finley and Nicholas, Sunday Football Stuff, thank you very much for the chat. Look at that. 73% possession for Manchester United. What did I tell you? 79% possession for Manchester United. No shots on target, but 5 shots. 5 corners. Sometimes football's a very simple game to analyse. Said this in the preview. We'll have well over 70% possession. We'll have all the shots. But it doesn't mean you're playing well. It's just the way Brentford play. They play on the break. We haven't had any clear-cut chances. We haven't had any clear-cut chances for those 5 shots or 5 corners. So I don't think Brentford are under the cosh, so to speak. It's just the way they play. Why not play McTominay at striker? He used to play there as a youth, says Enrique. And maybe he's called that because you can't get rid of him and he keeps coming back, says Tez. King says, would you take Felix? I do like João Felix, yeah. I do. Shout out to the members, Savage, Daniel619 and Kevin Shields. Thank you. Thanks, lads. Anthony's just gone for a good shot, just wide. That typical Anthony finesse shot, curling towards the back post. Just wide. Sumi says, why is McMayo, Scooby-Doo, not playing his position? I feel Marcel and Bruno forced to drop back, says Sumi. Paul says McTominay's a cam. I don't think he's anything, mate, really. Martinez has just given up a foul here. And it's a Luke Shaw yellow card. I thought it was Martinez. Luke Shaw's had a yellow card here. If McTominay wouldn't hide, he'd actually be decent, says Joshua. Well, it seems a little bit... I do need a stretch. It seems a little bit early to give a yellow card, but it probably was a yellow card, to be fair. I'd love Anthony to realise he has a right foot, says J90. So, yellow card for Luke Shaw. Genuine attempt to get the ball, but was a bit late. And... look at Raya's distribution and confidence on the ball. Let's buy him, says Sheriff. I've not noticed anything yet, to be honest. I've not noticed any. I mean, he's a good goalkeeper, Raya, but I haven't noticed anything amazing yet. Aguilero says, I'm liking the, I don't want to put words in your mouth. He says, I like the Anthony and Deload connection so far. What are your opinions on Osman? Archie, he would be my striker. I mean, Brentford looking to loft the ball in, goes out for a goal kick. That's good. Easter weekend's coming up. Do you celebrate that around the world? We get Good Friday off here and we get Bank Holiday Monday because it's Easter Sunday, so we get 4 days off. Not that I'll be off because United are playing on Saturday and I'll be doing Arsenal, Liverpool on Sunday, but it's nice to have 4 days off, I suppose. Drink break at 25. Now, I know what this is all about now. Yesterday I didn't get it. It's about Ramadan. So they have a little drinks break, don't they? Which obviously is a good idea. I wasn't aware of what it was about yesterday in the Chelsea game, and I was saying, why are we having a drinks break at 25 minutes? Because it's not hot, but obviously it is for Ramadan. Andreas Pereira or Scooby-Doo? Well, Andreas Pereira, Seb. Easy. I love you, says Charlie. Thanks, pal. And I was being sarcastic, Mark, says Sheriff. Good. Jay is a Pratt, says Matt. And he says, do you prefer dogs or cats? I prefer dogs, yeah. Cats hold a grudge, miserable. Whereas dogs, I hate to say it, I let the dog out the other day and it was sunny. And I went to do the morning show and I thought they'll love lying out in the sun. Came out from the morning show, it was pissing it down with rain and they were wet through. Stood next to the door. And I felt bad, even though it's just rain. And didn't hold a grudge at all. Was just happy to see me and give me a big lick on the face. And was just happy. Whereas a cat, they wouldn't talk to you for a week. Not that my cat talks. Don't want to give that a secret up. Luke Shaw with the cross. And goes for a corner again. So, United have got a corner here. Let's see what happens with it. Cross comes in. Martinez. Anthony. Rashford. Goal. Is he onside? I think he is. 1-0 to Manchester United. And Marcus Rashford gives Manchester United the lead. Tell me who got the assist. I didn't catch who got the assist. But Marcus Rashford... The finger goes to their head, and United have got that early goal. Well, not that early. Get in, Rashi. We need that. We need that. Manchester United lead 1-0, and it's Marcus Rashford with the goal. Sabitzer with the assist as well. We'll have some of that. I didn't know whether it's Sabitzer or Sancho. Yes, Sabitzer with the assist, and Rashford. I think there was a talk of him might be being offside, but he comes back from an offside position. United eventually scoring from the corner. I mean, technically the corner gets clipped away. Anthony puts the cross in. Rashford gets himself back onside for the Sabitzer knockdown. And United lead 1-0. Big goal. And I tell you what, give a bit of shout out to Sabitzer and Anthony, because the corner gets cleared, and it's Sabitzer who gets on the end of Anthony's cross to head it down and get the fuck in. 1-0. Come on. Get in. Love it. 1-0 to Manchester United. We've just got to get the result tonight, haven't we? Got to get the result tonight. Manchester United, 1-0 up. Get the fuck in. There was something I was going to say. I mean, do you think that Raya could have done a little bit better on that? I think that's the sort of shot that David De Gea saves. It's in the centre of the goal. But look, I'm not here to say that De Gea's better than Raya, because he is. But Sabitzer's looking good, says Cine. And Godford and Swabitzer. Come on, says J90. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, click it. We're on the road to 627,000. We're only about 100 away. And walking the dog videos need to come back, says Sean. All United games not on TV should be on MUTV, says Seb Watson. Well, if you're struggling to watch it anywhere, you can listen to it on TalkSport. It's live and exclusive on there on the radio. We'd love a 4-0, says Matt. Mate, I'd take this now. Stop the clock. If Brentford want it to end, let's end it. But, we've got a lot of possession. I love how far up Sabitzer always gets in the box. He does it all the time. Rashi and Sancho look good, to be fair, says SK. And lovely little knockdown, says DJ United. And Mark, who do you think will get relegated this season, says Gregor. I think Southampton and Bournemouth. And at the moment, I still think Forest will go down, but Leicester ain't doing themselves any favours, are they? Do you think we'll get Timber in the summer, says Devils 58 Reds? I mean, he's a player that Ten Hag likes. Be interesting to see if he goes back for him. Christopher says, kudos to Bruno, sacrificial role and effective, says Christopher. Of course, Newcastle are winning 2-0. Oh, look at David Raya playing it out from the goal kick and taking it. He was hesitating a little bit. He was hesitating a little bit. Quick, let's all talk about it. He was hesitating a little bit. Where's the pressure on the goalkeeper here? Why don't we press as well as Newcastle did at the weekend? Ten Hag has absolutely nailed it tactically, but we need to capitalise before half-time, says NYYK. I think the important thing in these home games is to get in front before half-time. It's so important, because the longer the game goes on, you look at... I don't know whether anyone watched the Chelsea game yesterday, but after about half an hour of loads of corners and stuff, you could see their heads drop a bit, and then Liverpool had a good 15 minutes. You've got to capitalise at home on that, home advantage in the first half an hour, and we've just done that, which is great. And look, Rashford this season, whether he's having a good game or a bad game, he has that tendency to just pop up with goals, so important. Scooby-Doo might get a 6 out of 10 for the first time, says Billy. I hope he gets an 8 out of 10. I'll happily give it him if he plays well. Main thing is to win. I don't think we're pressing as well as we could do on Brentford's keeper at all, by the way. He's just stood there on the edge of the 6-yard box picking his passes, and we should be pressuring it. Like Newcastle did to United on Sunday, get the press on. Sancho with time and space, much better, says Stephen. And you're going to get that in these next couple of games, because Everton are the same as Brentford. They don't want the ball. I don't know what people are talking about David Raya, by the way. His passing's not that good. He's good with the ball in at his feet. I think he's like a number 10. He's got really good control, but I don't think his passing's anything spectacular. I mean, statistically, someone's going to get the statistics out now, but Raya gave the ball away. Clip it. I'm going to tweet it. There we go. Retweet it and wind them up. We really miss Eriksen and Casemiro, but we're winning, Kristen. We're winning. At the end of the day, I've always said this, and I said it in the international break. Ultimately, Newcastle, Everton and Brentford, it's about winning at least 2 of those games. Well, we lost to Newcastle, so we've got to win the next 2. We've got to win tonight. We've got to beat Everton. I don't really care how well we play tonight or on Saturday, as long as we win, because we've got Casemiro and Eriksen to come back. You know, it's going to matter when we play Brighton in the semi-final of the Cup. It's going to matter when we've got to play Spurs at Spurs in the league and Chelsea at home. But we'll have Casemiro and Eriksen back for that. Would you take James Ward-Prowse as Howard? No. I think we need better than James Ward-Prowse. Why set the bar low? He's a good player, but I think we need better than that. Dyche is rubbing his hands at home, says Tim. Why? I don't think Everton are massively better than Brentford. I don't think they are better than Brentford. But we've dominated Brentford so far. They've not even had a shot. They've not looked very good today. Considering Brentford went and scored 3 goals at Brighton on Saturday, they've been very lacklustre tonight. Maybe United's energy levels are just far superior. Do you prefer Solihull or Nottingham, says GB? Definitely Solihull. I haven't lived in Nottingham. I didn't really live in Nottingham. I grew up in rural Nottingham, about 3 miles away from Leicestershire. So I didn't go into Nottingham that much, and I'm not a massive fan of Nottingham because I don't really feel like I know it. Can McTominay walk into Liverpool's midfield? I wouldn't go that far, Jacob. Liverpool's midfield's not very good this year, but it ain't that bad. Sabitzer with another flick on there. Football Edit sees a 4-0. Here's Raya. Look how long he keeps. Pressure him. Like we're not pressuring him at all. We're giving him a free ride. We should be going towards him here. We're just letting him pass it side to side. I mean, look, this passing from Brentford, this ain't nothing better than De Gea. They're just going side to side. Varane and Martinez have played very well again, though, haven't they? I know they've not had loads to do, but they're pressing up high, and they're attacking Mbuma and Tony and not letting them turn. Well, we've got a sub coming on here. Malacia's coming on. Now then, what's the injury? Does anybody know? Is it Luke Shaw or is it Martinez? Could be a tactic. I'd love it if it was McTominay and we were putting Martinez into the CDM position. Yeah, maybe because it's Luke Shaw's on a yellow card, says Ryan. Doesn't look like he's carrying an injury. Oh, he's holding his hamstring. Okay. He is injured, Luke Shaw. Thanks everyone in the chat. Bit of pressure for United though. We nearly got a second goal there. This is the thing, isn't it? It's always the way. We've spoken about it before. Oh, we'll get Casemiro and Eriksen back soon, and you forget that you can lose players along the way before that. That was a lovely ball by De Gea over the top, you know. You know, if Sancho was quick, does no one want to talk about that? So Luke Shaw's off. Hopefully it's precautionary. Malacia comes on. Is no one going to talk about that ball from De Gea over the top to Jadon Sancho, by the way? No? Doesn't fit the agenda? Luke Shaw has gone off. I think apparently he's got a bit of a tight hamstring. Proud to have you living in Solihull, my neck of the woods, says GB. Thanks very much, pal. Well, that's what I mean. It was a lovely ball by De Gea. It's just Sancho's not quick, so he couldn't get on it. He nearly got on it. De Gea's distribution has been on point today, says V. And what do you think of Lampard back at Chelsea? I think it's hilarious, the special one. Les says he didn't complete the pass, though. That's because Sancho's slow, mate. It was an impossible pass because Sancho wasn't quick enough. Do you live near St Bernard's Road? I know where it is, says Umzil. St Bernard's Road's more Alton than Solihull, really. I know it's classed as Solihull, but That's not where I used to live there. I don't live there now. I used to get on the train at Alton train station, actually. Maybe Ten Hag identified Raya's passing ability as a threat, so told the forwards not to press him to limit his options. Good point, Ash G. Good point. Why do you think Bruno's not playing at 10 anymore, says Jack? Because we haven't got a midfield. So Bruno's probably somebody that Ten Hag trusts to play deeper. Keeper distribution's overrated, says Billy. I'd like the second goal. Look at Varane and Martinez in Brentford's half. Yeah, the high press. Well, I'll tell you what, Anthony's had a couple of shots today, which I'd have expected better from. He's in the box there and he's got the space to whip it in the far corner. He's missed it. Do I ever go to Touchwood? I love Touchwood's GB. I love John Lewis. Mark, I tried to warn people. Ray's short passes out the back aren't that good, says Robo. You did warn us. You didn't try. You did. I remember. Even statistically, Costa is miles better, short and long. There we go. Savage says, I hope Luke Shaw's okay. Yeah, obviously, we all hope that Luke Shaw's okay. Sabitz has had a good half, by the way. Rashford wants another corner here, and he'll get it. With Anthony, it's always 5 or 6 wide, but he eventually gets it right, says V. Well, hopefully tonight's the night, mate. Mark, favourite song from the Bends by Radiohead, says Tarek. Oh, I'm not doing stuff like that. It's not That's Football and a boring game, mate. Apparently West Ham have got 1 back against Newcastle. It would be great if they could get more. Still a long way to go tonight, of course. Nice takedown by De Gea there. Touch by David. That'll upset the haters. Would you like Sabitzer for next season, says Jacob? I still think it's too early to make that choice because it depends what the alternatives are. Would you manage Solihull Moors? They wouldn't let me do it. They're quite, with Anthony, I've done that one anyway. No income tax, no VAT, no money back, no guarantee. Oh dear, oh dear. McTominay's had a yellow card. What's new? Wild. Absolutely wild. Don't give him a red. Mark, Lampard is coming back to Chelsea because we want to interview Nagelsmann and Enrique further. Bruno Celta doesn't want to be the interim, says Adam. And De Gea's distribution has been fantastic. Not just the pass to Sancho. He had a beautiful punt to Anthony earlier as well, says Jason. And Mark, I think people are too reactionary. Sancho and Anthony are having good games and I think they will come good in the future, says Tony. Thank you very much for your super chat, Tony. Sancho's having a good game, says Lucy Tom. Thanks for the super chats tonight. We're nearly at half time. Very happy with United so far. Not giving up any chances. And I think, there's been some good performances, but I think the main thing is there's been some, not average, but, decent performances. Not necessarily world class, but, some decent performances. And that's what we needed tonight. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch should be a nickname, says GB. Daddy says stupid challenge by McTominay. Yeah, it was. Gone down now because he's hurt his head. Eric, it's not worth risking him. He's on a yellow card and he's banged his head. Come on, get the sub on. That's why they call him McTerminator, Mank in Chicago says, with the stupid 2-footer. That's probably why they call him McTerminator, because he's lethal. He's lethal with his tackling. What's happened here then? Have they got a free kick? Been feeling a bit down last few days, says Liam, but sitting down with a few beers in United, being 1-0 up, makes everything go away. Keep up the good work. Good to hear, Liam. Good to hear. And we've got a great community here, so you're always part of it if you're watching. Just think of all the people around the world watching this show, interacting. Great. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I wouldn't risk McTominay. Here's Rashford. Go on. Oh, Raya did well on the front post there, to be fair. It's a standard save, but he kept hold of it. She looks like she don't care. Might have been actually a bit greedy from Rashford there. I think he probably could have put a cross in. Oh, it's Copa del Rey between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Mark, would you take Bazuna from Southampton, says Rory? I think he'd be a good goalkeeper to bring in as an understudy to David De Gea, to be fair. Good point, Rory. Wouldn't mind that. We're nearly at half time. Should United sign Matoma from Brighton this summer or other positions like a centre-forward or a centre-back, such as Osman and Kim Min-jae, says Hey. I think it's quite arrogant to actually think that you can buy Evan Ferguson or Matoma from Brighton. I just don't see why Brighton need to sell. They're a good side with a good manager. They're bringing constantly good players in. I don't think they need to sell, and they always get very good prices as well if they do. But I'd love it to be 2-0, but you know what? At least it's 1-0 at half-time, and they've had no shots on target. We've had 12 shots to their 1. Admittedly, we've only had 2 on target ourselves, but it's been a really strong half from Manchester United so far. Which 4 players would you sell in the summer to raise funds? Henderson, Maguire, McTominay, and Williams. Get a bit of money there. Henderson about 25. Maguire about 30, McTominay 25, Williams 10. It's about 90 million there. It's a real honour to see my gift in your backdrop, says Triggered Salt. And it's a great gift. Above my finger. I'm all for the gifts. If you come to any live shows and you want to give me a gift, it could end up in my background. Our next live shows will be announced in the next couple of weeks, by the way. We'll put them out a couple of days early for the members, and then we'll put them out everywhere else. So they'll be in June. They were great in the international break. Thoughts on the Bellingham brothers, says Howard. I'd take Jude. Good first half. Sabitz has been very good, says G90. Matthew, I don't know what you're on about, Matthew Whitfield. I'll just give you a shout out. Tell you what, De Gea's hitting Sabitzer with these long balls on the regular, and Sabitzer's winning the flicks. Very, very impressive from United, especially distribution-wise from back to front. It's been a lot better tonight than it has been the other nights, and very, very happy with it from Manchester United. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. 10% off, scan the QR code or use the link in the description and use the code Goldbridge. I'm wearing a Boohoo Man hoodie tonight. You can get all sorts of stuff, tracksuits, all sorts of stuff. Oh, shit, nearly took my mic with me then. I was going for a run and I took my mic. Tracksuits, gym wear, the whole lot. You know, I'm just doing a little bit of a half-time stretch here. There we go, back in my seats, rest my ear. You won't sell Maguire in the summer, says GB. Yeah, I know, I'm probably being a little bit... Tellers has got to leave as well, and Bailey, and Bailey, as is as well. And hi Mark, just wondering if you have roughly predicted date for when United Stand will hit 2 million subs. Been with you since the start. Don't think about stuff like that. Never going to give you up. I don't think about stuff like that. Current Javi would a much better job than McTominay, says Juan. Oh, current Javi, I was going to say. What are we on about here? So, it's 1-0 to Manchester United at half-time. Let's have a look at those stats. If you are a United Stand regular, please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. But you will have seen the preview I did for the Brentford game on Monday night. And I said, we'll have more than 70% possession because Brentford average 30% possession. We've had 73% at half-time. We've had 12 shots. They've had 1. They've had nothing on target. We've had 2 on target. We've had 8 corners. They've had none. This is a very effective performance from Manchester United. We have absolutely responded to Newcastle against a decent Brentford team by nullifying them. And you know how we've done it? We've played a high line and we've stopped them from counter-attacking. The aggressive nature of Martinez and Varane to hit Tony and Mbuma as soon as they receive the ball, not let them spin, not let them get up the pitch. We have completely and utterly nullified Brentford. They've not been able to get into our half. They can't win free kicks. They can't hit long balls. They can't get corners. They're doing next to nothing. We've kept a very, very high line. We've kept a very high intensity. And we've moved the ball around lovely. And the distribution from everybody in the team has been good. You know, McTominay, De Gea, Dalot, you know, people who sometimes get criticism, Bruno. It's been really good. We've played a very, very good tactical game. And I think Ten Hag hasn't let Sunday get to him too much. It's been, you know, very, very assured. You know, in the Premier League, you always need 2. We need a second goal, but very, very happy with that. I think the wingers have done reasonably well as well, Sancho, and I think the standout player for me is Sabitzer. The assist for Rashford. Rashford's never going to miss from there, but he's winning flick-ons. He's playing nice little passes. I think Sabitzer's been the standout player. Stephen's right. Stephen Rossi, regular super chatter, he says, shame about Luke Shaw, but kudos to Malacia for coming on and doing well. What kind of alternative is what's needed in the central midfield. Absolutely spot on, mate. Getting Sabitzer permanently in the summer is a no-brainer for me. The way he redirects play to the wingers and his overall all-roundness is perfect. And I think as well, Connor, I don't agree with you. And the only reason I don't agree with you is because I still think there's more to come from Sabitzer. So let's just see how he does over the next few weeks. This team needs more pace. Matomo or Diaby from Leverkusen would improve us exponentially. Sancho and Anthony do not scare defenders. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Okafor. I think we do lack a bit of pace up front. You look at that wonderful ball from De Gea, from the long ball to Sancho. And if Sancho's a yard quicker, he's one-on-one, but he just doesn't have the pace. We do need a little bit more pace. Do you think Beth is enjoying De Gea's performance? Says John. No, because there's nothing to clip up at the moment. Sancho's been the standout player, says Pogba. But you know what? I like Sancho, so I'm not going to dismiss it. But there is a Sancho fan club. I think logically Sabitz has had a bigger impact, but you know Sancho's certainly been decent. And it's the sort of game that if Jadon Sancho can't play well in a game like this, we may as well sell him. Because we've got over 70% possession against a low block. They're not pressing us. Pass and move. Mark, can you do a half-time player ratings? I will do half-time player ratings, Armin, because it's very easy. I'd probably give everybody a 6.5, apart from Varane and Martinez, who get a 7. Sabitzer would get a 7.5. Sancho would get a 7. And yeah, I'd give everyone else a 6.5, I think. So I'd give a 7 to Varane and Martinez, and I'd give a 7.5 to Sabitzer, and I'd give a 7 to Sancho, and I think everyone else gets a 6.5, which is above average, isn't it? I'd put Sabitzer as a makeshift striker, then Weghorst as Christopher, and we have got the prospect of Martial coming on in the second half. But what we've got to be careful about in the second half is complacency. We don't want to, you know, it's not. No, I predicted 2-0 to United tonight. 1-0 might not be enough. Probably Chelsea will go after Sabitzer and raise the price just to troll, says Felix. And Mark, I really appreciate the way you and the United Stand address certain issues, says Ray. Thank you very much for your super chat, Ray. De Gea's distribution has been fantastic, says Jason. Not just the pass to Sancho. He had a beautiful punt to Anthony. I think I've read that one before, but it's always worth reading things like that again, isn't it? Would you give Rashi a 7 as well and Anthony? No, I'd give them a 6.5. That's what I gave them. I think Rashford's finish was good, but I think, look, De Gea's played well. Delo's played well. Bruno's played well. Rashford's played well. Anthony's played well, but I'd give him 6.5 at the moment. It's only half time. You don't give 7s and 8s and 9s and 10s. That's the full-time score. I think people are on the journey to 7s at the end of the game, and that's why they've got to do it in over 90 minutes. But I really do think Sabitzer is on the journey to an 8.5. Let's see whether he does that half. Manreet says, what's your thoughts on David Raya? I think the goal, De Gea gets closer to that. I think David Raya is like a number 10. His control with the ball to his feet is very, very good. But, we got that clip that people went mad about after Newcastle, where Murphy of Newcastle said, we could see that David De Gea was hesitant on the goal kicks. And people thought that was a reason that David De Gea was crap at distribution. I've just seen David Raya hesitant on a goal kick because he's got no options. And that's all I was saying. I don't think that Murphy was saying David De Gea was a shit goalkeeper. He was just saying that United were hesitant on the goal kicks because they had no options. I've just seen David Raya hesitant on goal kicks because he's got no options. Where basically he's gone side to side a few times. He's a good goalkeeper, but I don't see what the problem is with David De Gea. I really don't. But some people do. Let's respect it. I bet Saka. I don't know what that's all about. Loving Sabitzer's first half, says Dean. And I think it's that journey with Sabitzer. I wouldn't rush into anything and start saying, let's sign him, let's get rid of him. The acid test for Sabitzer is when Eriksen and Casemiro come back. Because if Sabitzer ends up sat on the bench and it's Bruno, Eriksen and Casemiro every week, what's the point in keeping him? Because we want to buy a midfielder that can force their way into the first team, and that's going to be the interesting thing. That's why I said this week was a big week for Sabitzer, because if he plays today, which he is, you're expecting to play against Everton. If he plays well in that, he's knocking on the door to be starting again. Mark, big up to you and the team. Hope your next live show will be in the USA, says Chav. And hypothetical, but if played Newcastle at home, would we have played better, says Sack. Look, sometimes I'm not here to analyse the Newcastle game. It's gone. It's 3 points in a Premier League season. If we'd had a competent referee, we'd have had a penalty against Jadon Sancho in the home tie back in autumn, and we would have won that game, and they'd have 3 points and we'd have 3 points. They've taken 4 points, we've taken 1 point. You move on. The Newcastle game is gone. I don't care about what we do at home to Newcastle, because sometimes you need the loss to get the response. And beat Brentford, beat Everton, 6 points from 9. Could have been better, could have been worse. Let's focus on that. I can't remember the last time I wasn't biting my nails when a defender had the ball. It's such a joy to watch our defenders be so calm and collected, says Pigott. And thoughts on McTominay in the first half, says Locke. Average, had a good shot. Arriving late, which seems to be the one thing he's actually good at, is arriving late. Reckless yellow card, and then everything else average. So I just think I'd give him a 6.5, probably a little bit generous. But look, that's probably a good game for McTominay. Let's be honest, probably is. But look, it's not been great. Aaron Wan-Bissaka comes on maybe to secure the job defensively. I wouldn't invite the pressure. I wouldn't go defensive at all in this game till it's 2-0. We are absolutely dominating the possession, as you can see. We're dominating the chances. We're dominating the corners. Get the second goal. But the minute you start going defensive and dropping off, you're inviting pressure. You don't want to invite pressure at 1-0. Finley's 9 on Sunday. Birthday shout out for him, says Finley and Nicholas. Sunday football stuff. Big shout out to Finley on Sunday. All the best people have their birthdays in early April. And can't remember the last. I've done that from Jay. Can I just ask that people subscribe to the channel, by the way? Bottom right-hand corner, really appreciated. We are very close to 627,000. We're only 10 away from doing it, in fact. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe, and we'll hit that on half-time. Get involved with the United Stand. We're live every match day. We've got player ratings in the second half. We've got the fan forum after my match reaction. Loads to get involved in on a daily basis on the United Stand, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everything. So get involved. Brandon says, do you think it's a big, massive blow for Luke Shaw? It's not his. Anyway, I think it looked precautionary, but I'll be honest with you. I remember Delo going off precautionary and we lost him for 3 weeks. So, you know, these injuries are going to happen. I don't think. Benedict, thank you very much for your super chat. I think we fall into that trap, don't we, where you get a suspension for Casemiro, you get an injury for Eriksen, and you go, once we're past Everton, they're back. But what you forget is that on the way to that, you might pick up other injuries. And we're going to pick up other injuries. There's no way we're going through to the end of May without 3 or 4 more injuries. You know, we're going to pick up a couple of big injuries at some point. You know, so many players have played so many games and they're being asked to play every 3 days. They're being tackled. You know, we're going to pick up other injuries. It's just the way it is. I don't want Luke Shaw out injured. I think he's a really important player for us, but at least it's in a position where we do have good backup. You know, at right back, if you lose Wan-Bissaka, you've got Delo, or vice versa. At left back, if you lose Luke Shaw, you've got Malacia. Centre back, it's not so good. You know, you lose. I don't mind Lindelof, but I don't really want Maguire playing. Midfield, we've got no cover, as we've seen. And up front, I think we'd be in big trouble if we lost Rashford. So out of all the positions, I don't want Luke Shaw injured, but at least we actually have got backup there. We're better with Rashford or a false 9. Weghorst is a lovely person, but he's just a body. I think the opposition doesn't fear us with Weghorst as Dej. Well, remember we've got Martial. I'd like to see Martial get another. I'd like to see Martial get another half an hour and then start against Everton. Do you think Fred would have affected the game more than McTominay has? If yes, how so? I had Fred starting, says Brode. I don't know what. I don't not want to talk about Fred, but I sort of said everything I needed to say about Fred before the game. I don't understand. I almost feel like he's ill or he's got a knock because he's been so important to Ten Hag before the international break for months. You lose Casemiro and Eriksen. I can't believe he didn't start against Newcastle. I can't believe he didn't start tonight. But I don't get why he's out of favour. And also, he didn't go on international duty. So I don't know what's happened with Fred because, especially that Newcastle game, it was crying out for him to start. But I don't know what the situation is with Fred. United pitch has never looked this bad. I agree it's raining, but it looks very poor, says Sheehan. And McTominay must be sold. I won't take this club seriously until we get rid of him. And homegrown bias, I love United, but we need to evolve, says Tariq. Thank you very much for your super chats there. We are at half time. And we're very, very close to the game coming back to us. We need heights is the thing that I've said and a few people have said in the chat as well. Quick turnaround as well. I mean, it's not nothing to worry about at the moment. Let's get this game won. I'm hoping we can score a second goal and so can West Ham. I'd bloody love West Ham to get a draw against Newcastle. That would be very useful for us. They were 2-0 down. It's 2-1 now. But it's absolutely pissing it down in Manchester at the moment. Really raining. None of that pretend rain. It's pouring it down. I've won £50 from McTominay's yellow card, says Oze. And would like to see a bit more clever build-up with Martial and Sancho. We're trying shots from distance a bit too much with Rashford and Anthony. Bruno likes a pop shot too. Martial brings creativity, says Ara. I'm sure we'll see him coming on. And hi Mark, game is going well and I hope it builds our form, controlling possession and creating many chances. So now the time to get the second. Love from New York, Saljo. We've just got to go out and do what we've done again. But remember, there is a quick turnaround. That's what I was going to say. There's a quick turnaround. We play again on Saturday lunchtime. So Wednesday night to Saturday lunchtime is a very, very quick turnaround. So I think if we get the second goal, we probably will see some changes. But let's wait and see what happens with that. I didn't check what the weather was. I normally check the weather. I know it's quite a boring thing to do, but I normally do check the weather because it can have an impact on the game. So, yeah, it's probably not going to ease off, really. pretty much raining all the way till tomorrow morning in Manchester. So, yeah, it's not going to ease off in the second half. Which can lead to those sort of tackles that we saw from Scott McTominay, which he needs to be careful about. Do you know where Ashby is? Can you please call my mate Nooni a prat, a Greek on a bike? Ashby, it's a place, isn't it? Right, let's get the second half up and running. Let's get the 3 points. Let's move on. I think it'll put a lot of negativity to bed if we can just get the 3 points tonight. I think the reaction to the Newcastle game was justified, but also probably a little bit over the top. But obviously, you can only appease that frustration and concern by winning games. I've heard of Ashby de la Zouch. I think that's in Leicestershire. I think I've played football there. I've played the game there. Right, we're up and running for the second half. Get the second goal. Very different game for United as well, isn't it? You think about the Newcastle game away from home. They're going to press the shit out of you and they're not going to let you out your own half. You play Brentford at home. They don't want the ball. They're going to counter-attack. You're going to get a lot of the ball. A lot of space. Right Height says, I'm predicting a Rashford hat-trick. Happy 16th birthday to Jared, says JS. So many birthdays. Galaxy T says there's a nice castle in Ashby. Would like to see a bit more clever build-up. I've done that one from Aram. Thank you very much. Why is our game not being broadcast yet? Newcastle is. The amount I pay for Sky and BT and Man United isn't on either of them. It's a piss take, says Brain Rot. Who's one Aston Villa player you take at United, says you. I mean, I think I like Jacob Ramsey, but if I'm being honest, Ollie Watkins wouldn't be a bad option as a. He wouldn't be the main striker, but he wouldn't be bad to sit on the bench. Villa are brilliant under Emery, though. I mean, God, they are absolutely brilliant. There's no doubts about that. Does the game stop if it rains too heavy, says Druv? No. I mean, there probably is an element of rain that would cause that to happen, but we don't get that sort of rain very often here. Apparently Newcastle have scored again, 3-1. They're going to win that game, aren't they? Someone's saying just look at McTominay hiding. Well, it's Bruno who's having to come and get the ball. He's playing more advanced, McTominay. I tell you what, that's one thing we do need to be careful of. Keep McTominay away from tackles. Anyone noticed how fantastic Dalot has been, says SK? Well, I really like Dalot. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. So Newcastle have scored within 20 seconds of the restart, apparently, which is exactly what you want to do when you're 2-1 up at half-time away from home. De Gea got a bit lucky there, although I don't know what happened there. That could have gone very, very wrong for David De Gea. He's gone to kick it. It's hit Tony and just gone wide. That's getting clipped now. The thing is, every player makes a mistake in a game. But he'll definitely get clipped. We don't want to give them any incentive here. I want to get that second goal. That'd be a yellow card. McTominay just got fouled. Would you take Onana from Everton? Very strong, says Michael. I think he's one that to keep an eye on. The usual sloppy start to the second half, says Ravens Claude. Well, this is what we said at half time, isn't it? Very good first half, but it's only half time. You know, you've got to go out there and work hard and get it done. As I said, I'll happily take a 1-0, but I'd rather we just got the job done. CL Ceilings, thank you very much for your super chat. Manager says, why do we always start so slow? I don't know. Hi Mark, would you take Bendia from Villa, says Daniel. I don't think we really need a player like that. Not that he's a bad player, I just don't think we need an out-and-out striker, a box-to-box midfielder and a centre-back. Malacia looks rusty and Butcher is on beast mode, says Christopher. Well, it's hard to... Malacia probably needs a bit of game time. I have been to Preston, Kane. It's in Lancashire. Well, there we go. Malacia's won that one. As well. That's it. Stretch your legs, lads. First super chat as a member. Love the content, Mark, says Louis. Thanks very much for the super chat, pal. Delo's just hit a lovely ball to Anthony, but the grass is going to skid it out for a goal kick. Marlon Brando says De Gea is finished, Mark. Marlon Brando's finished. This is the mentality that needs to change. Always looking to take it easier. This core group we've had, says Chris. A few people getting a bit frustrated by the start to the second half by United. I'm not frustrated at the moment. It's it's still very much in our hands. I think, we have got the bench. We don't want to encourage Brentford. It is only 1-0. What you definitely do not want to do is go and concede in the next 10-15 minutes and then have 25 minutes trying to get the winner. Better to be 2-0 and let them score than 1-0 and let them score. I know that's obvious, but it's also true. That's the problem. De Gea hits a long ball there, which is the right ball to hit, but Rashford doesn't even jump. Is that another corner? Another corner for Man United. Good play by Rashford down the wing. He's gone down injured though. Hopefully it's nothing sinister. I think he's alright. I think he's just banged his face. Good dribbling by Rashford. This is why for me Rashford's better off the left, because as a striker you very rarely get to get the ball and run into space. You're playing with your back to goal. That's why for me I think Rashford's better off the left. Did my cousin, a Greek on a bike, comment on here, says Greek? He did, and if he did, call him a prat. I think he called you a prat as well. Prat Wars. Get Martial on, says Marvin. I'm sure he will be on at some point. Somewhere between 60 and 70 minutes he'll bring him on. It'd be interesting to see who he brings off. Probably Anthony, I think. Hi Mark, are Newcastle better than United, says Christopher? At the moment, they're in better form. than United. They beat us at the weekend. They've gone to West Ham and they're winning very, very well. I mean, you know, I can take it. I can accept that, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. We beat them in the cup final. Let's see at the end of the season where we are, because, you know, at the moment I think United and Newcastle are the two that everyone's got to try and stop for third and fourth. Remember, Brentford are playing Newcastle on Saturday. There's double the value here of you know, trying to win this game is most important, but also hopefully you'd get a reaction from Brentford on Saturday against Newcastle, which could do us a favour. Anthony again, he's had about 4 shots go wide from the same type of shot. Bruno must be a marathon runner in past life, says SK. Seb Watson, welcome to the Members Club. James, that's just rude. And will you play Grand Theft Auto 6? Kyle, I'll be 90 by the time that comes out, I think. Probably still play it. Tamer's very happy with Sancho's performance. That was a cross by Anthony. Rashford's very greedy. Well, somebody's got to be greedy. Ronaldo's greedy. You know, Lewandowski's greedy. You've got to have somebody who's greedy in your team. When Rashford's on the wing, I think you can moan about him being greedy. But when he's playing as the striker, I'm not really that bothered. Let the manager deal with that. I've been happy with the wingers. I agree with Suvic. I think Anthony and Sancho tonight, you know, they've done a good job. You always get a shift from Anthony. I've played the game, says Farms. Just need to, you know, still 35 minutes to go here. Lee Berman says Anthony's becoming that shithouse and I'm here for it. Kim Min-jae or Timber, Mark, says James. Well, I'll trust Ten Hag, but I'd prefer Kim Min-jae because I think he's got all the attributes that you want as a centre-back, whereas Timber, very, very good, but obviously we're just going to get the same hold. He's only 5'10" stuff again. I mean, I don't think... Never say never, but could you play in the Premier League with Martinez and Timber as your centre-backs, both 5'10"? Typhoid says, I think Malacia is underrated. I like Malacia. I think he's developing really well in his first season. Sabitzer with a shot. Not too bad. How big is Sabitzer? Five 5'11". Somebody just said it's 5'10". A lot of people saying 5'10". I mean, Brentford are going to come into the game more. Oh, he's going to book Bruno here. He's going to book Bruno, who says he got the ball. Don't want to pick up that. That's Bruno and McTominay on yellow cards, and they're the two midfielders. So it might be worth bringing in... I don't think that's a yellow card for Bruno, by the way. It's a genuine attempt to get the ball. He nearly gets the ball. It's not really a yellow card. Jack Langley, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Also, welcome to Richie, and... thank you very much for joining the Members Club. Yeah, both the holding midfielders are now on yellow cards. Still a long way to go in this game. You don't want to be going down to 10 men. Is that now an incentive to get Fred on? Joshua says it's the perfect game for Garnacho. It couldn't be more imperfect for Garnacho, considering he'd be hobbling around injured. Hi, Mark. Has Seb ever asked to do a watch along with you, says Riley? I mean, he wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to. He'd get bored after about 2 minutes. Yeah. Classic Heart says Garnacho would struggle to play on crutches. I agree. Apparently Real are thrashing Barca tonight. It is the Copa del Rey. Just inviting a bit of Brentford pressure here, which we don't want to be doing. Seb says they've both got their full teams out though. Most underrated and overrated player in our squad, says Isa. I like those sort of questions. Brentford have got a corner here. Overrated player in our squad and underrated player in our squad. Underrated players, you've got to be looking at people like Eriksen. I think he's underrated. Varane's probably a bit underrated as well. It's not my birthday, no, Joshua. The referee's given a lot of yellow cards. Overrated, I probably would say Harry Maguire, because we spent £80 million on him as the captain. And I don't think he's any better than Michael Keane. So I think he's in an overrated position. Luke Shaw's an underrated player as well. McTominay's definitely not underrated, Grace. He's just not rated. Still half an hour to go here. I think this game is sort of getting lost a little bit. Yellow card, stop-start. That plays into Brentford's hands. Brentford are very much about set pieces and, you know, counters. You got to get that tempo going again. You know, we're playing a team here that's you know, they're going to thrive on stop-start set pieces. We've got to get going a bit. Richie says, I've been watching United Stand for about 7 or 8 years, and the work you and the United Stand team have done has been amazing. Thanks, Richie. Hope you're doing very well, mate. Cyber Spider says, my favourite Mark moments, he's bloody missed it. Cat on a car bonnet, jump scare. Always bloody Burnley. Full guys banter me. Your national treasure, Mark, says Cyber. Oh, nice little memories there. Thank you very much. Basri, welcome to the Members Club, and Gary Sanderson as well. Thanks for joining. You'll have your badge next to your name in the chat. Welcome to the club. Thank you very much. Do you think it's Arsenal's Premier League to lose, says James? Yeah, and I think they'll go to Anfield and win on Sunday as well. I think they'll win comfortably. I mean, comfortably doesn't mean 6-0, but I think they will be the better team and win the game. Whether it's 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. I just don't think Liverpool are capable of beating that Arsenal team. Then again, they smacked us up. Maybe Arsenal will catch them on an odd day. Vince says, would you like a debate with Simon Jordan about United? Yeah, I don't know whether he'd want to do it, though. La Familia says, what if Lampard wins the Champions League? Fucking Real Madrid are going to batter them in that. Well, I say batter them. You know what? You never know. Good play by Sancho. Into Bruno. Into Malacia. Come on, let's get this second goal, lads. Casemiro is X-rated. Brilliant player, says Quinstar. I just want to get past Brentford tonight, Everton on Saturday, get Casemiro back, and if we've got 6 points, I think we'll be absolutely fine. Subs time, says Savage. Well, 65 minutes. Yeah, look, if you bring Martial on now, he's only playing 25 minutes, so Yeah, you got to look at that. Hi, Mark. With Ben Foster out of retirement, would you have him at Man United? Says Kevin. I don't really see the point. You know, I think the next goalkeeper we bring in has got to be somebody that can challenge David De Gea, but is ready to learn from David De Gea. So, you know, I don't think Ben Foster's going to be able to do that. Do you like playing Connect 4, Mark? I do like Connect 4. I haven't played it in ages. Kyle. Tom Grant, just released my debut album and turned 30. Please could you give me an amazing present of a Sean Dyche impression? Cheers, everything. Well, Tom, I'll probably be doing quite a lot of impressions over the next couple of days because Manchester United are playing Everton, Tarkowski and Dyche in town, but fair play for singing. I've got a very good voice, but I don't sing very often, so well done on your debut album, Tom, and yeah, thanks for the super chat. I think I'll stop it there because I can feel my throat screaming now. Evening, Mark. Lost my job the other day. God, from Sean Dyche to jobless, aka says I lost my job the other day, contract ended, was an IT engineer for the NHS, can I have a job at the United States? Mate, I'd love to, but you know, I can't give everyone a job. Honest question, has McTominay even touched the ball this half, says Jason? Well, he won a foul. He went running forward and won a foul, I remember that. I think he's just headed the ball away as well. And made a tackle. So there you go. That was well timed. Mark, can we get a I've played the game t-shirt? Says KJM. McTominay's been decent now because he's made a block. You see, this is what we're up against in this fan base. You can play absolutely shit for 2.5 games. You make a couple of blocks on a rainy night in Old Trafford and he's decent again. This is why we'll never learn as a fan base, because someone makes a block and they all love him again. Fucking idiots. You'll never learn. We will never progress if you think that is good enough for Manchester United. And I'm not going to change my mind on this. Brentford are in here. This is a problem, but not for David De Gea, as he makes a save one-on-one again. Now that is consistency. De Gea, what a save. Again, one-on-one. That's my keeper. That's what we're here for. We're in trouble there. We were in trouble there. And De Gea's actually injured himself, but we were in trouble here. Gets away from Martinez. He's in a one-on-one situation. This is the chance for Brentford. Sorry, gets away from Varane. And De Gea just does what De Gea does. Really good play by Brentford. Not a lot Varane can do because he's got the pace on him. He's got the momentum. But David De Gea makes himself big. Gets injured in the process. And does his job. It's a crotch save. That's what goalkeeping's all about in a one-on-one. Get your body in the way. Doesn't matter whether you save it with your hands or your cock. Man says, McSauce, the Scottish Perlo. Welcome to the Members Club, Conroy. Well, Butland's warming up. Hopefully, we can't. I'll tell you what, that's one thing we do not want to do. For all the De Gea critics, you put Butland in goal for the rest of the season, we're out. We're out. He'll be all right. Mark, where was you when you did your video and was being stalked by those geese, says David Taylor? I was at Centre Parks in Sherwood, which is Nottingham. He's all right. He's all right. Mark, if the new owners come in, should the season get called off or get rid of them all, says Johnny. What are you talking about, Johnny? And cheers from Ohio State University. Love the content, says Jackson. It's Ohio, isn't it? I don't know whether I pronounced that right, Jackson, but sorry if I didn't. Yeah, it's... McTominay needs a random drug test after this, says Andy. Dave's block, now that's commitment, says SK. Martial's coming on. Martial's coming on. And Fred. Bruno's been brilliant, says Charlie Max. We need a bit of a mix up here. I need a bit of subs like Jason Day. So a load of members there. Rahul, AJ St. John, Jack, Jason Day, Al Doctor 69. Thanks for all the Thanks for being members. Jeff Evans as well. Teller. Yeah, we need the second goal. We need a bit of momentum. Any case, thanks for the super chat. Well, the good thing is, if we can win this game with a 20-minute cameo from... if we can win this game with a 20-minute cameo from Martial, maybe he can come on in the... maybe he can start the game on Saturday. Would you ever would you ever coach football again, says Desert? I hope to. I hope so. I do enjoy doing it. I'd love to be involved with the football club. Fred for Sabitzer, apparently. McTominay survives again. That don't make no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense picking him anyway. Can't wait for Casemiro to come back and he'll never play again. Doylers, thank you very much for your super chat. McFred's back. Love the live show, Mark, says Gareth Morgan. Made the trip from Cardiff to Manchester. Keep up the great content. Thanks, Gareth, and thanks for visiting Manchester for the show. And Sancho comes off for Martial. I think Sancho can be happy with that 70 minutes. Sabitzer can certainly be happy with that 70 minutes. Let's hope Martial gives us a good 20 minutes. And a bit of a tenacity from Fred. Sabitzer's best game in the United shirt, says Charlie. Well, look, remember, we've got a game on Saturday as well. So, you know, some of this might be thinking, you know, Sabitzer, do a job on Saturday. I certainly think he'll be starting the game on Saturday. And as we know, Bruno can just play. Bruno could play 3 games a day. So bloody slow, McTominay there. He loses the tackle and the player just sprints away from him. And he's making 2 metres on him with every sprint. With every yard. I just hope we're not going to invite pressure now. I think Brentford have been in the game more this half. As you can tell by the stats there, it's gone up from, you know, over 32% possession now. They're going to go for it. I figured it out. McTominay is one of the Glazers' illegitimate sons, says Brian. Thanks for the super chat there. We will have player ratings open for you soon as well. We'll get onto those. This is from somebody who's in the ground. A mate of mine in the ground has just messaged me this. McTominay's playing hide and seek in the midfield. We can't move it quickly because he never makes a move into space. That's someone watching it in the ground. Come on, United, says Wayne. Well, we're going with what we've got now until full time because we haven't got another midfield change. That's a terrible ball by Bruno. Why is Bruno still playing like the fucking holding midfielder as well? Like, Bruno's played most of this game as the CDM. London will remain red for a long time as Chelsea are getting Lampard as their manager, says Zane. I know, it's hilarious. Michael Talbot says, I hate 1-0s. Oh, let's get the second goal and get it won. I mean, you know what? When you look at the game, I hope this doesn't end up a draw, says Kieran. You know, when you look at the game, take away Rashford's goal, which you can't take away because it actually happened. Where's been the clear-cut chances? Like, McFred's back, says the Bandit. We haven't had... I can't think of any good chances apart from the Rashford one. There's been a few crosses that David Reyes dived down on, but we haven't created any killer chances apart from the one. I mean, it only takes one, but in fairness, Brentford have done exactly what Brentford do. They've given up the possession, they've played a low block, we've had a few shots, but we've only had one we should have scored, and we did. Anthony's put a shift in tonight, says Gordon. Anthony always puts a shift in, he's like Fred. Who would your man of the match be, Mark? We probably just took 2 candidates off on the 70 minutes. So I don't know whether you can give it to Sabitzer or Sancho when they come off after 70 minutes. Anthony's put a shift in, I suppose. Good tracking back by Rashford. Yeah, but you know that needs to happen every game. If you're putting up all your eggs in one basket, which player do you want Man United to buy in the summer, says Gary? I'd love Osman at Man United. I think he would make a massive amount of difference. I see Palace scenario again, equaliser in the 90th minute, says Faris. Well, if Brentford create... Well, Brentford... What I'm trying to say is, and I just didn't make the point very well, we've not created enough chances in this game. We've created one good chance and we scored it. In fairness, Brentford created one good chance and David De Gea made a great save. It could easily be 1-1 based on big chances. I know we've dominated possession and I know we've dominated shots, but actual goal-scoring chances that you'd expect to score could be 1-1 because we've had one good chance and we scored it. They've had one good chance and David De Gea saved it. So I would like to see, in a game like this, with this possession, we should be creating better chances than we have, and we haven't really. So Brentford, you could argue, have been, you know, apart from that one chance, they've defended quite well. Charlie says we don't create chances since Eriksen's injury anyway. McTerminator, I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle to play in midfield, says Desert Haunter. Thank you very much for your super chat there, mate. Thank you very much. Can we use McTominay as a centre-back? Could bench Varane, says any case. I wouldn't be surprised if we try him there next week. Seems to get him tried everywhere else. Why don't you do a guest appearance on Vibe with Five? He's terrified of me, Rio. He wouldn't go anywhere near me. Mark, love your channel. You're going to do any live shows in and around Nottingham, says Mubin. I don't know, actually. I'd either sell out Nottingham or no one would turn up. I know we're going to try and do Birmingham next anyway. Right, let's have a look. We've still got 10 minutes to go here. I mean, we're not quite in squeaky bum time yet, but we do need to... We've got to win this. It would be devastating if we somehow didn't win it. I'm going to drop the link for player ratings in the live chat. In the video description. The hole we have in our midfield with McTominay is phenomenal. Bellingham would slot in perfectly. Look, Simon, exactly. You know, if you're looking at ways to improve this team, you replace McTominay with De Jong, Bellingham. It's a massive upgrade, isn't it? Doesn't matter how good you think McTominay is, it's still a massive upgrade. It's been a hard game for United tonight in the sense that it's not been massively pretty, but job done is what we need to get. And I said that when it went 1-0. I said I don't care if we play shit as long as we win, and I'm going to stand by that. As long as we win this game, I'm not hugely bothered. I'd rather play crap and win than play brilliant and draw. I've lost my chat, as you might have aware. It's been a much more equal second half. We had 13 shots to 1 in the first half. It's been 4 shots to 3 in the second half. So we have invited the pressure. David De Gea's had to make a big save. You know, you've got Martinez making a block there. We've invited the pressure second half. This easily could have been 1-1. But now we've got a chance to break. With Marcus Rashford. Lays it off to Fred. Oh, fucking miles over. Miles over. He's not smiling this time. 10 corners and nothing to show for it, says Stephen Lopez. Should have got that. I mean, there was a lot of bodies in the way, but, you know, he should be hitting the target. That should be 2-0, says V. Larson. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. The smiling assassin, says Paul. To be an assassin, you've got to actually finish. Joshua says, past few games have been bad. All about the result. Still 10 minutes to go, though. My concern going into these last 10 minutes is they've already had one big chance. What are the chances of them getting another big chance? We've had a big chance there. In fact, actually, that Fred chance is probably our biggest chance of the game, apart from the goal. So glad Eric Ten Hag didn't pick McTominay this game, says Press. You never know, he might come on at some point. So many shots gone wide this game, says Sean. I mean, look, the conditions aren't great. It's very wet and rainy, but they are professional footballers. I used to go down the park and play in the rain, and I still score. You're going to give McTominay credit today, says Paul. No. I think he's been average, mate. I honestly do not think he's done anything that's amazing. I think there's been a massive hole in the midfield, second half. I think he's made a couple of blocks. His passing's been okay. But if you think that's the standard Manchester United, it's basically been a 50-50 second half. So I don't think we've been very good second half. First half, I thought we were good. Second half, I think it's been 50-50. Call it how it is. I just want the win. And I don't care how shit we play as long as we win. But I don't think we've been very good second half at all. Apparently Benzema scored a hat-trick. What's wrong with Rashford? Bit petulant with the kick. 4-0 to Madrid against Barcelona. Mark, it's my birthday tomorrow, and be perfect if they win tonight, says Shane. Don't tempt fate, Shane. Tom, welcome to the Members Club. Thanks very much, pal. Anthony, poor game, tracks back, but he's supposed to. Wasteful in possession. Don't think he's very good right now. I think there'll be a few people who disagree with you, Nasha. 4-1 to Newcastle, by the way. I mean, look, Moyes might be getting sacked. Paul says that McTominay's done the same job as Sabitzer. Mate, go and wash your mouth out with soap. You are, go and wash your arse because you're talking out of it, actually. What a load of shite. I've never heard such a crap opinion in my life. I mean, it's your opinion. Hold on to it. And in some ways, I'll respect it. But I still think it's rubbish. As if McTominay's had the same game as Sabitzer. What are you talking about? Absolute nonsense. I don't know what McTominay's done in this half. He had a shot in the first half. He's made a couple of blocks in the second half. I don't know what else he's done. You're acting like we're fucking winning 4-0 and we've had 20 good chances. We've had one good chance. That was Rashford. Everything else has been shots from all over the place. We've not created anything. We've not dominated them in the sense that, they're on the ropes. It's basically just get the job done and bring on Everton and then get Casemiro and Eriksen back. And I'll take that. I think Ricky is on the fan forum, so... Oh, no. I tell you what, I think Delo's had a good game, you know. I think Delo's had a good game. What would you think if Sims scores in a 1-0, says George. I don't know what you're talking about, George. Benzema is a free agent in the summer. Any chance United go for him, or should we? We've already took Casemiro and Varane. Benzema next, says Robble. I don't think that we should be going for old strikers. You know, we've done that with Cavani, we've done it with Ronaldo, we've done it with Zlatan. I mean, Benzema is absolute quality, but we need to buy a striker. You know, Lindelof's coming on. Maguire's not had a minute in the last 2 games, you know. I know we forget about Maguire. He needs a question asked about him in the presser. He'll be on his phone now. I'm getting forgotten. In the next presser, ask a question about me. Lindelof's coming on then. Fred should have started over McTominay, says Vala. At the end of the day, Ten Hag's got the team right as long as we win. Varane heads it away. Same McTominay versus Newcastle. He disappears second half, says Conroy. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. We're inviting a bit of pressure here. I want to see Rashford, Martial and Sancho shooting from outside the box more. They're more than capable, but seem to risk losing the ball in the box, says Aidan Barnes. Can't believe we missed out on Lampard. What the hell are Chelsea thinking? Bruno done nothing this game and Sancho even less. I'm so disappointed with him, says Nasha. We play so much better with Delo. Great player in my opinion, says Cameron. Inviting the pressure like we didn't want to do, says Triggered Soul. Yeah, well, bring in... Who did Lindelof come on for? Anthony. I don't like inviting pressure with 5 minutes and stoppage time to go. I'll be honest. But Rashford's ran it up and won a corner. Take a breather. Take a breather. Triggered Salt's nervous. Make sure you subscribe to the bottom. That'll give you something to click. Keep yourself motivated. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Player ratings. Mark every player out of 10. 6 being the average. We'll get onto that straight after this. Is Maguire being punished for his interview, says Andre. And Doyler's welcome to the Members Club. I don't think Maguire's being punished. I personally think Lindelof's better. It really grinds my gear hearing these low-ambition United fans praising McTominay just because he wasn't completely crap. He's been average, says SK. Cross comes in. Oh, I tell you what, I'd love it if he'd scored. I'll be bloody fuming if we bottle this, you know. That's all right. It's a corner to us. I do my man of the match on the player ratings, but I think there are a few candidates. I think Delo's played well. I think Sabitzer played really well. I thought Sancho was decent. I actually think the centre-backs have done well again, Martinez and Varane. They've played a really high line at times and really pressed us. Not second half, but first half. You know, you could give it to Rashford for the goal. You know, Rashford's put a shift in tonight. But yeah, I think Varane's played very well last couple of games. I thought Varane played well against Newcastle as well. Billing as a midfield option for United, says Matthew. I just got to get the job done now, really. I think McTominay is the best midfielder in the world, and I promise I'm not just saying that because I'm British, says Marcus. And oh my, I can't believe you spent £5 on that, Marcus. Oh my God, that's like shitting on a £5 note and flushing it down the toilet. I have lived through McFred in midfield and now Super Frank back at Chelsea, says JMD. Right, we're nearly into stoppage time here. I'm just wondering how long we're going to get. Don't add loads of time on, ref. Please. I'll be over the moon with this win. 3 points, doesn't really matter. I know Newcastle have won by 4, but our goal difference is shit anyway. It's about 3 points. Get 3 points on the board and move on. You know, you look at what... I'm thinking about what happened to Spurs at Goodison. They're against 10 men. They're 1-0 up. And Michael Keane steps forward. 4 minutes added on. They're the fine margins. Spurs fans will be looking at that going, these are the fine margins. We should have won. And they shoot wide there with their Michael Keane. I haven't had a stretch all off. I'm just gonna have a little stroll here as we hit stoppage time. Might even do a few keep ups. Take my eye off the ball. Can't stop when I get going. Come on, come on. The difference between 3 points and 1 point, well, it's 2 points. In fact, it's 5-1 to Newcastle. That's so good. Look, Brentford have got Newcastle on Saturday. We need them. We need to beat them, and then they need to get angry. Lampard could have been West Ham boss tomorrow, says Nasha. Yeah, I think Moyes might get... You know, if Moyes gets sacked, isn't that like 15 managers that have been sacked out of 20? It's mad. Well, obviously Chelsea have had 2, so it's not actually like that. But you know what? You know what I mean. In fairness, Moyes has got to go. But the thing is, you say Moyes has got to go, but it's not like there's good managers. Don't forget we're sponsored by Boohoo, man. Goldbridge, 10% off. Check them out. Loads of good clothing items. Get 10% off with Goldbridge. Links in the video description. It's not like there's loads of good managers that would keep you up. Moyes would be number 14, says Rob. Thank you very much. Yeah, 14 sackings in a 20-club league. That is crazy. Justin says Bruno's played well today. I think Bruno has played well today. I know it's controversial, but if you think about it, he's still not playing at number 10. He's been the deepest lying midfielder. Yes, some of his passing's been shit, but McTominay could have played someone through there. That was a shite pass. That could have been game over. Yes, Bruno's made some bad passes at times, but the energy, the 90 minutes, the leadership again, playing as the deep lying midfielder, it's... You know, I do think Bruno has had a good game. 1 minute to go. Varane's been good again, says Tabasco. Potter to West Ham, says Tumbleweed. There's jobs there, isn't there, at the moment? Awful second half, says... Well, he's not been good second half, but at the end of the day, I just want the win. 30 seconds to go. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I think we did hit 627,000. We'll do your player ratings in the match reaction. We'll be live straight after the game for this. Foul on McTominay there. Well, hopefully we'll see Martial starting against Everton. Remember, we're playing Saturday lunchtime. It's a very quick turnaround, but halfway there with 3 points. Lots of empty seats, apparently, at Old Trafford. Bruno put in another great shift. Incredible player, says Kane. Calamity says Bruno has an 87 pass accuracy. Not sure what you mean. Oh, swivel on it. Just because you've got an 87 pass accuracy doesn't mean you haven't played some stupid passes. We've all seen it. Man United have won 3 points. That's all I'm bothered about. We can talk about player ratings, individuals and all that shit. on the match reaction. But the cold, harsh facts are, I said we'd win 2-0. We didn't. We didn't make it as comfortable as we could have done. But we did win. And at the end of the day, that's all it's about. Alex says they gave McTominay man of the match on NBC. Well, that's just another example of shit American commentary, as many of the Americans in the chat testify to. That's why you've got Craig Burley and Steve Nicol and Shaka Hislop. Shite. Ain't no way my commentator just said McTominay's man of the match. Absolutely not. Never in a million years. Right. For me, Bruno, Dalot, Sabitzer, Varane. You could even give it De Gea for that. I mean, fucking hell. Why are we not saying De Gea? It's 1-1 if De Gea doesn't make that save. You could even say Rashford for the goal as well. I mean, De Gea's save is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, I will see you over on the match reaction in 1 minute.